Hello, friends. You're now listening to the lifestyle, leisure, and sports show you never knew was two of those things.
I think we can all acknowledge that if this fails, you two will be fired and I will remain. So, no pressure.
Bo Bishop, a regional media icon, winner of Emmys, purveyor of the good life.
Sir, you don't know that for a fact.
I just said it on the radio.
Also, two guys this company named Employee of the Month.
What are you talking about?
Paul Hogan is Hulk Hogan's brother. Look it up.
Because it's Hulk Hogan. That's his real name.
One guy is from Australia. The other one is from Tampa.
You mean he's from Hollywood, brother?
Not brothers. Chops.
Yes, they are.
This is Bishop and Friends.
It is Bishop and Friends, but it is an Oops All Friends edition on this Friday. Chops and Eric Reeser with you. We've got Ryan Baker behind the glass. He's running things for us today. Fun little show. We got Tim May joining us in the 10 o'clock hour, as he does most Fridays. We've got NBA draft talk. The NHL draft is tonight, which apparently the Blue Jackets might be the center of the universe on this. So keep an eye on that throughout the day. And then, of course, during the draft tonight, we've got a lot to go over here. And Bo is probably somewhere in the middle of Indiana right now. And if you've ever listened to this program, you might know his distaste for the state of Indiana. So we feel bad for him right there. But he's headed to Illinois, which is Rockford, Illinois is just as exciting as Indiana, I would say. And you can take that however you want.
I was about to say, I'd take your word for it. I think Rothman is the mayor of Rockford.
Apparently.
Is that where he began?
He corrected.
As a journalist?
He had the fact check on that yesterday during the switchover because Bo said he went there. He did work in Rockford, Illinois, but he actually began in northern Michigan. I forget the name of the town in Michigan, but he said it was 4 hours north of Detroit. And I was like, oh, that's practically Canada. So, but yes, an old stomping ground of Anthony Rothman, and Bo and his kids, I guess it's lacrosse, right? They're not baseball players anymore. So they'll be out there playing baseball. Speaking of kids, I saw this morning in, hey, are you feeling old yet? And this has happened. You know, we've talked about like the athletes who have gone away from our childhood there's only a handful of guys who I remember watching when I was in like school that are still playing. This one goes way back, but Maurice Clarett has a child going to Ohio State this year. I saw he ran into Coach Locke, the new running back coach somewhere, and he posted about it and said, we both have a child going to OSU this year. Maurice Clarett has a kid at OSU. Yeah, that was one that I was like, oh, yeah, that was 22 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't need anything to remind me how old I am. I'm 34 in 2 weeks. So I remember I had a Fiesta Bowl branded Maurice Clarett jersey growing up. And he was one of mine, still a top 5 for me.
Yeah.
In terms of Ohio State players. And it is cool just walking around at freshman orientation. You never know who you're going to run into.
As if LeBron James' son getting drafted wasn't reminder enough.
Yeah, like we gotta stop. Like we're old. I get it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and we'll get to Bronny a little bit later.
There was a picture that went
hour.
around of I think when he was with the Cavs the first time, or maybe it was with the Heat. It was with the Heat, and he was picking up his son, and Bronny was a baby.
Man,
it's okay.
Yeah, and I was talking to Fish when I saw that Maurice Clarett tweet, and he was saying, yeah, like because he's a baseball fan too, and all the players, baseball, this incredible lineage right now of sons of players. It's always been a thing in baseball, but right now it seems like it's supercharged. There are a ton of baseball players whose dads also played Major League Baseball.
Bunch of Nepo babies.
Heck, the Toronto Blue Jays until recently had 3 on one team with Vlad Guerrero, Kevin Biggio, and Dante Bichette, or Bo Bichette.
Yeah, Bo Bichette. Yep. Yeah. So there you go. As far as sports last night, the Guardians, they've lost 2 in a row now. We were so high on them. Best record in baseball. Everybody was so excited. They did not get the sweep of the Orioles the other night, and then Thursday night lose to the Royals. That one was in KC, right? So that was a 2-1 loss for them.
First of a 4-game set. You got to stop leaving runners on base. I think there was twice with Stephen Kwan was up. There was 2 or even 3 runners ready to go, and you just kind of left them stranded. I think there was an error on a play in the 6th that allowed Kansas City to play the go-ahead run. So, look, it's the first of a 4-game set. You're going to have a lot of one-run baseball in the American League Central. Like, this is fine. I didn't feel anything. I felt more a type of way of the Reds, who brought back a cheater to beat the Cardinals last night.
Fertility drug or something, I'm sure. That's what they all say. Hey, losing, though, to the Royals and Orioles this year is nothing to shake your head
they're
at
good
either.
teams.
They're really good teams. Yeah.
Nope, Guardians run over.
All
Season
right,
over.
They're still up 8 games on them in the top spot in the American League Central.
I was excited on Wednesday night when John Kenzie hit the home run on his first
Clippers
Major League
teammates.
Yeah, because because that name is kind of unique. Every time I go to a Clippers game and John Kenzie comes up, I'm like, hey, I like this guy, and he's a good player too. Last time we were out in the back or in the outfield seating area, just standing room, and he was right there. So yeah, good for John Kenzie getting up to the big leagues and being able to play this week. And then the other thing I saw last night, it was we tuned into NBC, I guess, because they have all the trials, but it was right before the debate. We're not going to talk about that. But there were some Olympic trials going on, and Sha'Carri Richardson, the sprinter, who we had talked about previously this week when we were saying, hey, who's like one athlete that can kind of dictate a sport and get you really interested? And there's definitely that in the Olympics and the sprinters. And, we've had great swimmers for the U.S. teams and Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky, all that kind of stuff. And Sha'Carri Richardson didn't get to compete last time, though. So this is because of what was it? It was marijuana, right?
She got popped for marijuana.
Ridiculous. But she ran the 200 meter and just blew by people. It was one of those ones that it really jumped off the screen to me. I'm like, yeah, she is fast. So a 21.99 200 meter.
Fast.
I like the sprints too because it reminds me of the Kentucky Derby. Real easy to just dive in, check out a race
Doesn't
for 20
take a whole
seconds,
lot of your time,
and then you're done.
You're good to go.
Yeah, so it looks like she's going to qualify, so we will be able to see her in the Olympics this time around. The thing I wanted to start the show with today, though, is we didn't, but the building had an old friend come in yesterday and sit in the chair that Reeser is sitting in right now, unless somebody flipped him out.
Is that why it smells like farts?
Probably. All that protein and working out. And
well, you got James yesterday afternoon, and then you got DeVere was on with Baker last night, and then you got Bob sitting in here. So, yeah, a lot of testosterone in this seat.
That is quite the lineup for you to take over. But, yeah, threes in with Common Man for Common Man and T-Bone yesterday. And I listened to almost all of it. I was interested. Did some yesterday live and then listened back to some this morning as well. And just a few of the highlights for me. One, they were talking about the UFL, and neither of them seems to really care. But James was up to date that the St. Louis Battlehawks were a team that the fan base was trying to like show off that like, hey, we can support a team after they lost the Rams in the NFL. But still, just the UFL just hasn't really hit for anybody. But one of the funnier ones was the Seine River in Paris, right, is trying to be usable because it's been polluted for years. It's trying to be usable for the Olympics. And so they
swim in?
I think it's mostly like rowing and stuff.
Okay.
But what happened with it was they did a beautification cleaning project on it over the last year or so. And they were trying to make sure that it was acceptable for that. So the mayor of Paris and like their president, prime minister, whatever Paris has, they were going to swim in it last week or this week to show, I think it was this week, to show that, hey, it is clean, it's safe, we can go in the Seine. And the French, I don't know if you know this, they invented the guillotine. The French really like to protest and are very into it. So to show their distaste for these politicians, some French people, I don't know all of them, and they didn't actually do it because they canceled the swim, but they were going to go to the Seine River and defecate in it to re-dirty it, and then the politicians would have had to swim through the poo water. And it got canceled, so it didn't happen, but it's almost one of those ideas that, like, I can't even be mad. That is so creative.
For the protesters?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, the city's hundreds of years old. There's been a lot of crap put in that river over the 1,000 years of Paris's existence. And no, you should not swim or go into that thing. You should not row in that. Like, figure somewhere else to do whatever it is you want to do. But, yeah, good job on these protesters, because that's a number 2 idea.
Yes, a 1A, 2A, 2B, whatever you want to call it. I like that number 2 idea. Some other things that stood out to me. One, just Common Man playing just cold, randomly old hype videos or, for WWE stars. And one of them was super long. Just let it go. It's like a minute long.
Was it the first time you'd heard the Scott Steiner math cut?
Yes, it was that one.
So, gigantic wrestling fan over here. So, old TNA pay-per-views are my jam from like the mid-2000s. And this is where they'd have Scott Steiner. And I think they would just give him a microphone and be like, all right, what do you want to talk about, Scott? And so he decided to do what are your odds, your actual mathematical odds against me in a wrestling match. Yes. And the cut's hilarious. You can find it on YouTube. You can also find the fan on YouTube if you're not watching right now. And I think that's one of the cuts that's in their intro. And then he played the whole damn thing for James, and it's a long boy.
And it's like a triple threat match. So that's where they got into the percentages.
33 and a third % chance.
It's amazing.
Because he's talking about, well, when you battle me,
not normal.
you get a 25% chance, even though it's normally a 50-50 chance in any match. And then you add in Kurt Angle, who apparently he thinks he's much better than, and that changes the percentage. And it gets down to like 11% or something, his chance to win against him.
Because it was during that run where he would just fat shame his opponents. Like, that would be Scott Steiner's promo. Like, if he was facing Samoa Joe or the Dudley Boys, like, he would just say, hailing from Dunkin' Donuts.
I did have another thing.
Good heel work. That
stood out to me when they were talking about the WWE. I was like, I feel like James Laurinaitis is uniquely positioned to be somebody who can talk very knowledgeably about the WWE and not come off as a nerd.
Sure.
That's what I
know, because what I just did right there has me coming off a big wrestling nerd.
Reese a nerd?
That's fine. I'll own that.
It's okay to be a wrestling nerd, but it just kind of comes off that way. We're sports nerds here. I'm a movie nerd. You're a Ohio high school baseball nerd, I guess, Baker. So everybody's a nerd about something. That was kind of the idea when I was doing the podcast Nerd Association years ago. The other thing from this, one, they played my clip talking about Common Man, and he said the reason he doesn't bring anything in to work, he doesn't carry a bag, doesn't carry anything. He says he carries a lot of emotional baggage.
There you go.
So that's very heavy on him. But also, Bo isn't here to defend this at all, but we'll bring it up. It started on Morning Juice. Bobby Carpenter brought up the fact that the reason that James got pushed into coaching and quit broadcasting is because, paraphrasing, but also kind of quoting, he hates Bo Bishop. And that's what Common Man said. And James, sitting in the chair, said, yep, exactly true. So now we have James backing up that claim. I always thought they were very friendly with each other. But maybe that's why James is always so ornery with me, because he was just fed up with dealing with Bo.
Well, so to use another wrestling term, it's commitment to the gimmick.
Yeah.
But also it would mean that James is a really good recruiter because he can put on two faces. It seemed like he loves you one day, and the next minute it's like, nah, I really didn't.
I wonder how much that has changed in college football and basketball, any of the sports now, because of the open transfer and the transfer portal. It used to be that coaches were really nice to these kids when they sat in their living room and said, hey, come play football for us. And then you got to campus and nope, that buddy-buddy mentality was completely gone. They were your coach now. You're working for us, blah, blah, blah. And now you kind of probably have to toe that line a little bit where, yeah, you still have to turn into the coach and make sure that you get the guy ready to play at the higher level. But you also have to make sure that he doesn't get so discouraged that he wants to leave.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, I look back with Urban and recruiting all the talent that he did. You'd go in and you'd make the correct pitch, but when they got here, you whooped their ass. You gave them the black stripe and said, all right, now you have to earn being a Buckeye. And that was for a lot of players that even you talked to this day, it was a badge of honor for them for removing that black stripe. That's very much what recruiting is. So we want to love you, but then we're going to grind you into the ground to make you a better football player. And now, yeah, you have to. I feel like it's probably less than we would think, but walking a line to where you're not, grinding in on them too hard, because then they'll just say, I'm not feeling this, I'm going into the portal.
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, Common Man and T-Bone, wherever you get podcasts, you can hear Threes on there. Of course, you can also listen to the Bishop and Friends podcast, also on YouTube, and we're live on YouTube right now. Go ahead, get involved in the chat. We like interacting with the listeners there. The NBA draft, it wrapped up yesterday afternoon for some reason after going to 2 days for the first time. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
At Hollywood Casino Columbus, you're always in the driver's seat. Don't miss our $50,000 trucker cash giveaway at Hollywood Columbus. Pick between driving off in a brand new 2025 Ram 1500 or $40,000 in Penn slot play or $30,000 in cash. Grand prize awarded on Saturday, June 29th. Earn entries on your slot and table gameplay all month long. For more information, visit HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Common Man and T-Bone.
3093.
None 3.
Sister Jean.
That's Sister Jean's line.
None.
Right there. 3093.
Stupid.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here, and I want you to picture this. Cannonballs into the lake, s'mores at the fire pit, sleeping under the stars. Well, that could be you when you visit my friends at RCD RV. RCD is having its summer open house, and you don't want to miss it. Huge RV savings all month long in June. New travel trailers as low as $14,995. The area's widest selection, over 600 new and pre-owned RVs in stock. Start your summer adventure at RCD RV. Visit one of the 3 Central Ohio locations or online anytime at rcdrv.com.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Don't miss a minute of the action on the diamond with ESPN Bet. The exclusive sports book of ESPN is the only place to find offers and promotions from your favorite ESPN shows and personalities, including daily odds boost and home run specials all season long. New users can get a bet reset up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Download ESPN Bet today. What a play. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Every year, Adult Protective Services receives thousands of reports of elder abuse, exploitation, and neglect in Ohio. When a report is received, Adult Protective Services can check in and provide help if needed. If someone you know is showing signs of elder maltreatment, don't hesitate to call 855-OHIO-APS. Let's work together to help every Ohioan age safely.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, look for increasing clouds with a high between 85 and 90. Saturday, look for showers and thunderstorms. A couple of storms could contain large hail and damaging winds with a high of 86. Sunday, look for sunny skies with a high of 83. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your Doppler 10 forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop & Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop & Friends.
This is interesting from the chat. One guy said he likes the tropical look for me. Yes, this was actually the one I was going to debut at Muirfield, but with the poison ivy, wasn't able to go out there. So
shame. You need to crush it out there.
It's a nice shirt, right? Yeah. So I got this specifically for that, but I was like, hey, nice summer day. Let's go ahead and throw it on today. But another person says, for me specifically, the chair looks really low. How tall is this guy? It says this has him curious. Do you guys know? I mean, I think he's asking people in the chat because, yes, I know how tall people who work here are.
I was just about to bring this up. I think Phil is actually asking you.
Yes, I do know how tall other people are. And then about my chair, I like my feet to rest on the ground, like flat.
Yeah.
So I go pretty low with the chair. A lot of other people like it up high, but I don't like tucking it under and like being on the thing or just my tiptoes on the floor. So that's why I sit with it low. But I'm about I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm about 6'2".
You're tall. There's nothing wrong with it. You're tall.
I think the only people.
It's fine.
Yeah, the only people who are
I'm short.
taller. Baker's close. That would be close.
I'm close. I'm probably about 6'1.5".
Yeah, so we're basically, it seems like about the same height. Bobby's taller than me. Paul Keels is taller. He's a taller guy.
Keels is about the same height as Jim Lachey. So if you've ever seen Jim Lachey, like those are the two towers of Buckeye Broadcasting.
Keels is every bit of 6'5", I would say. He's a big man.
I'm 5'6".
It's funny, though. He says AR or Ice seem like tallest, and then he says Bone and Reeser seem shortest.
That's accurate.
Yeah, not AR and Ice being the tallest.
Oh, no, but they're taller.
Are they? I don't know.
Everybody's short to you.
Well, I also don't consider people tall because growing up, I had, and I'm still friends with a lot of these guys, but I had a friend who's 6'7", I had a friend who's 6'5", and then when I got to college, like in the dorms, people were calling me like the tall guy on the floor, and I was like, what are you guys talking about? I'm not tall at all. I used to hang out with all these giants.
You know, now that we're talking about this, I'm looking in there at you guys, and I can barely see Reeser over the computer screens. Like, he's got a low rider in there.
Yeah, I'm just at normal height. My feet touch the ground. I do the same thing with Tyvis. Sports Saturday tomorrow at 10 to 1 with Tyvis and I, where I'll sit a little taller. And so when I watch back the YouTube videos, I'd be like, I look just the same as Tyvis.
How could we forget Tyvis? He's tall too.
He's 6'3", yes.
Yeah, it's the athletes for sure, like the ones that just make you feel
NFL
small.
defensive back, yes, large human being.
The biggest one that's ever been in here that I've interacted with, Jake Ballard. That huge hands,
large
just
human
a
being
giant,
confirmed.
yeah, like house of a man. Beanie Wells also, like his upper body, and everybody knew this from his playing days, and it's still there. All that muscle. He's a huge guy. That is a log cabin chest from Beanie Wells. NBA draft day 2 yesterday started at 4 p.m. Did you tune in? No, I did not. I was
monitoring it because, and I had said this at least 3 times yesterday in doing the sports updates at the top of the 9, 10, 11 o'clock hour. Lakers have 55. Bronny is available. Like, that was what was going to happen. And so when it got to like the 40s, and then I started to pay a little bit more attention and then tried to figure out, all right, what time do I need to be by my phone? And I missed it. And I had actually had someone else tell me that, like, yep, they did what we thought, because I'd saw earlier in the day the Bob Myers stuff. And by earlier in the day, I guess I mean 4:30. Mm-hmm. Because Bob Myers, again, former Warriors executive, telling ESPN, telling the nationally televised audience that Rich Paul, CEO of Clutch Sports and Bronny's agent, also LeBron's agent, was telling teams that were interested, do not draft him. If you draft him, he'll go to Australia. And it's like, okay, now you're just saying the quiet part out loud then. Do not draft this player. He's going to the Lakers.
They really did orchestrate this completely.
Yeah. But we all knew. Yeah, we all knew it was going to happen.
We got more on Bronny coming up in the next segment. But what else happened on day 2 of the NBA draft? One thing that I did see, and I was like, okay, that adds a little bit of context of like why they wanted to go to 2 days. It was just too fast, the second round previously. It used to only be 2 minutes in between picks. Now there was 4 minutes between picks. Teams had 18 hours to devise any sort of trades that had to do with the second round. So like, I get it from an NBA standpoint, and the second round is such a throwaway anyways.
Yes.
It's almost like they don't even need to televise the second round, basically.
They can do the lottery.
Yeah.
And after that, I think you're good.
Yeah. So, but the awkward thing from it, because they split the days, and now you get this in the NFL draft since they switched to the Thursday primetime as well. So it's happened a few times there. It just happened with what's his name, the quarterback for Tennessee, Will Levis.
Yes.
It just happened to him where he had to stick around and go for the second day. There were a few guys this happened to, at least 3, but the big name on it, and no pun intended, 7-footer, Kyle Filipowski. That's I wanted to say Kowski, but it's Filipowski. He was he's a Duke player. Remember, he was the one who got caught in the court storming, and that was a big hullabaloo. We were all talking about that.
Assaulted by Wake Forest fans.
Yes, and he had to wait in the green room all day on Wednesday night, and then had to go back. And I think they changed venues to like Radio City Music Hall. They didn't do it in the Barclays Center for the second. Yeah,
well, I guess you've got stuff to do in the Barclays Center. You can't just.
It's the second day.
Hold it open for 2 days.
I wonder what the attendance was like for the second round of the NBA draft. But he came back and he got drafted. Didn't have to wait long. He was the 32nd pick by the Utah Jazz. So the second pick of the second round, Kyle Filipowski. But there was some talk about maybe why he drifted into the second round, because a 7-footer played at Duke. He was a good player. There were other 7-footers that we saw in Donovan Clingan and Zach Edey. They were both drafted in the top 10. Filipowski is definitely in that line too, and he's younger. So you'd think, okay, there's a lot of development there. So why did he drop? Well, Jonathan Givony, who does a lot of the mock drafts for the NBA draft, he was on the Low Post podcast talking about Filipowski. Is it Filipowski or Filipowski?
It's Filipowski.
Okay.
I spelled that wrong.
That's where I got it.
And he was discussing, so they recorded this podcast after the first round. And this was Zach Lowe asking Jonathan Givony, who does all the ESPN mocks, what the heck happened? All the other 7-footers went. Why is he sitting in the green room waiting? His game, I feel like, translates better to an NBA organization right now than Zach Edey's does.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say that Zach Edey is not going to be like a ready to go NBA
right
player.
Now.
We all have our questions about like, well, how's his game going to translate? And Filipowski did seem like a guy who would go that, but all the way at 32. Here's Givony on the Low Post podcast.
He's competitive. The workouts weren't great. People tell me there were question marks about the interviews. They said he was nervous. He didn't make shots at the pro day. What's going on with his girlfriend? This is all nonsense. It's hard to find a 7-footer like Kyle Filipowski who is this skilled. Somebody needs to draft him very early in the second round.
Wait a second. I'm obviously out of the loop on what the young kids are talking about. What's going on with his girlfriend? You need to elaborate. He has an older
girlfriend. She's like 25 or 26, and people are like, "Oh, this is weird." And it's like, give me a freaking break, guys.
That's not the what?
He doesn't talk to his parents.
And so there is some of those concerns, and we obviously know, especially in the NFL draft, all the pre-draft stuff and all the weird things.
Everything gets uncovered.
Yeah, that they look in. I think now a lot of agents, when you're going to be a big time player, like they have people who work in those agencies who go through new clients' Twitters and just say like everything before a certain point, we're just going to delete, just get rid of that. So we don't have an issue where somebody brings up an old tweet at some point. So because all this stuff is looked at, and Filipowski, these rumors are kind of flying, but they're also being somewhat substantiated by family members.
So 2 accounts on X, one purporting to be Filipowski's brother, another purporting to be his mother, were responding to a Fox Sports reporter. His name is Kev. He goes by Rotosurgeon on Twitter, saying Kyle Filipowski's brother and mom are on here revealing how his girlfriend basically planned this, what is now an engagement, since way before Kyle was even out of high school. The girlfriend reportedly is 7 years older, and she would have been, and again, internet sleuthing this was all over the place yesterday, where she, while at Alabama, was with, when she left Alabama, she was his senior prom date.
Okay.
And so the allegations are she identified him early, latched on to him, and now this is that end result to where she has, maneuvered him away from his family. Because if you notice at the end of that Givony cut, he just kind of throws it out there, doesn't talk to his parents. It seems to be estranged from his family. And, more allegations to the fact that he doesn't talk with them, doesn't interact with them, has converted to a different religion, and now is out in Salt Lake City, away from all of his family members.
So, like you said, unsubstantiated, but being thrown out there. And like Givony's not just going to say that on a podcast if he doesn't have any inkling that it could be true. But like you said, he didn't get into the full details of it. But that just goes to show you that like these front office guys are going to look into everything. Does it make him worse at basketball? No. I don't think so.
It's honestly a good spot for him. And, again, it's one of those situations like we'll discuss with Bronny, how I do think both situations, the team and the player, benefited from it.
The in-season tournament champions will have a father-son duo on their roster. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic, Hidden Valley Ranch, or new smoky barbecue. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Do you know someone struggling to figure out their mental health benefits? The Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office is here to help. Find us at insurance.ohio.gov/GETMHIA or call us at 855 855-438-6442. Don't wait. The Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office can help you figure out what mental health insurance benefits may be in their plan. Call us today at 855-438-6442.
Save big money on your new door now at Menards. For over 50 years, Mastercraft has been building great doors inside and out. Choose from the best in-stock selection of doors, ready to take home today. Or design your door your way, in-store or on Menards.com. Save big on Mastercraft doors and check out more great deals happening now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
That's the sound of sweat falling drip by miserable drip because your AC has decided to call it quits in this heat. But the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team never quits. So no sweat. The Waterworks offers same-day AC service to help you keep your cool this summer. And that sounds amazing. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team, 614-333-9720, or schedule service on our website. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better AC.
Now at UDF, buy 3 everyday favorites with UDrive Plus to quickly stack an extra 20 cents in gas savings. That includes drinks like Coke and Sprite, Pepsi, and Mountain Dew. And that adds up. UDF, made for you. Specially marked products with an opted-in UDrive account.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Want a great choice with great value? It's great to drive Honda and save thousands with low 1.9% financing. All your favorite Honda models are in stock. Save big on a great selection of cars, SUVs, and trucks, like the new 2024 Honda Ridgeline, now with low 1.9% financing. There's never been a better time to buy a new Honda. Search your local Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details for well-qualified buyers. Offer ends 7/8/24.
Save $40 on any repair of $150 or more at AAA Car Care Plus. Not a member? Not a problem. Everyone can save on auto repair at AAA Car Care Plus locations. Offer ends March 30th. See store for details.
If you're about to get engaged or ready to walk down the aisle, your true love deserves a true jeweler, the Diamond Seller. As a true jeweler, we not only have designer collections to meet your bridal needs, but we also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. Visit the Diamond Seller today.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Because comfort keeps us going. So grab your family, your friends, and your Wrangler layers for some fresh air adventures together. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you? What's up? Bronny James is headed to, staying in Los Angeles, I guess. He was already at USC. Something that I think everybody had picked out, that it just looked like, the Lakers with the 55th pick, second round of the NBA draft, they're definitely going to pick Bronny James, and the prophecy came true. So the father-son duo will be with the Lakers, most likely. That was so funny in the article I was reading, or actually, was it from Pelinka? Especially, or no, it was just talking about, in the ESPN article, LeBron has until 5 p.m. Eastern time Saturday to opt into the final year of his Lakers contract worth $51.4 million for next season, or become an unrestricted free agent. That would actually be hilarious if LeBron opts out and doesn't play for the Lakers, so they just drafted his son and he goes somewhere else.
Swerve of all time, like the final prank LeBron could pull on this organization. But I also think it's been Brian Windhorst for at least 2 weeks now that says he's going to opt out. Like, he's going to restructure his contract so they can pay actual NBA players to help this Lakers team win now.
So he'll opt out but re-sign with the Lakers.
This isn't if we're doing thing or not a thing, which we'll do in the next hour, this is not a thing.
That's how LeBron's done. I wonder if he's finally old enough that he might sign a little bit longer of a contract, like a 4-year or something, and almost just kind of play that out. It doesn't give him as much flexibility with both like you were saying, with the salary cap and everything and himself, because he's been, I mean, really since like coming back to Cleveland, it seems like he's loved that 2-year, second year as a player option deal. And most times he just restructures and does a new contract and doesn't opt in to that player option on the second year. But him and his son will be playing together in Los Angeles. For those who don't know, Bronny James is a 6'1", 210-pound guard, 4.8 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, 2 assists per game in his 1 year at USC. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, he was dealing with that heart problem that he had, but he got cleared to play. He's not ready for the NBA right now. Maybe he could be someday, but it's also very important, I think, to note that he is not his father in any way as a basketball player. Like I said, 6'1", and he's not, maybe he'll grow another inch. He's still a young man, but he's not going to get up to 6'8" and be this dominant physical force that his dad is going to be. And in the article, they were talking about the idea that he thinks he can be this was during a pre-draft interview. Bronny said he hoped to model his game in the NBA after the likes of defensive-focused players such as Davion Mitchell, Drew Holiday, and Derek White. Drew Holiday and Derek White, both on the championship Celtics. Is he a good enough shooter to do that? Like, maybe he's athletic enough to kind of play that 3-and-D role, but like, is he actually going to be able to knock down those shots? Don't forget, the Lakers drafted Dalton Knecht, who's actually a great three-point shooter, in the first round. Bronny is going to be on that bench because he's LeBron James' son and he'll have chances to play. I don't know if he's going to end up with a 2-way contract and spend some time with their G League team or be up with the big club all year long, but they will make a whole point to get them both on the court at the same time. But he's not an NBA player right now.
Yeah, I wonder, because I think it was Rich Paul that said that he's not signing a 2-way deal. He's going to sign an NBA contract. And I wonder, like, what spot on the bench is he going to take from a Lakers team that can't rely on developing this guy who's a fringe draft prospect at best? This is a team that needs to go now. And when you talk about LeBron opting out to restructure his deal, that's so the Lakers can sign somebody that can give them actual production this season. But I do think the landing spot for Bronny is the best possible position for him. And, you know, you see a lot of consternation online. You hear a lot of consternation from talking heads such as us about, you know, how they're making a mockery of this whole thing. But we'd be foolish to not say that Nepo babies exist in all of sport, right? Jerry and Stephen Jones, the Collinsworths, Ian and Noah Eagle. You know, and Noah's terrific, unlike the other ones that I mentioned. But that doesn't mean that they don't get, you know, some special treatment. And of course he does. But I also think if you're a LeBron, you want your kid in a spot where he doesn't have too much pressure on him immediately, where you can aid in his development, where you can keep him close to home because mama's happy, and you can keep him in Los Angeles where his medical team is and they can keep monitoring his heart. All of that's, if I'm putting myself in LeBron's head, that's where I'm thinking. I don't care what anybody else says about this. If I'm able to maneuver my son into that spot, I'm doing it because he's my kid.
And it wouldn't be the first time that LeBron dictated who the Lakers sign or who they go after. I mean, that's what he does, yeah. You bring up the term of Nepo baby, which we hear in entertainment probably more than anywhere else. And one of the biggest differences, too, with this is, like I said, maybe Bronny can get to this level. But right now, if he were actually drafted, and he would most likely, if he wasn't LeBron James' son, been an undrafted free agent and probably been on a G League team this coming season. Usually in the entertainment sphere, they get kind of snuffed out if they're not good. If they're not a good singer, they're not a good actor, they just stop getting roles. And some of them, you can see that like, oh, well, they're in this because their dad is a producer or their dad was another actor. But a lot of those people do end up being good actors. And so it's like, it's kind of a wash. Like, yeah, I get that they had advantages to get here, but if they're a good actor, I don't really care. So if Bronny ends up being a good player, then great. I don't care that he got this extra opportunity because of his dad. Now it's going to continue to help in his development, like you said, because he's going to have the best stuff around him. If you were 19, 20 years old, taking your first job, which would really be your second year of college, but say you graduated in 1 year from college, would you want to go work where your dad works?
If my dad ran the thing, yeah, because that's a lot less pressure on me.
Yeah.
And that's probably a better paycheck because dad's the one deciding where this goes. I guess in this instance, it would be Rich Paul that says he's not signing a two-way deal. He's going to make $1 million, $1.2 million as just the baseline NBA entry-level salary. So, yeah, I get it.
Now that
it's stupid, I get it.
Now that I think about it, I didn't play for an NBA team, but I did a similar thing going into college. Similar. It's not similar at all. I wasn't drafted for this job, but my dad is a logistics manager. So his office is in a warehouse, and it's, there's people in there pulling stuff from pallets and loading stuff up. So he helped me get in with that job. Problem is, I'm not very coordinated, and I really struggled operating it wasn't like the full-on drive forklift. It was one of the ones you stand on that just lifts a pallet a little bit off the ground and you can move it wherever you want. And at one point I was backing up and I hit the handle into one of the beams for one of the shelves. The thing stopped working, and after about 2 weeks, I was not asked back to that job.
I'm picturing your dad as Big Tom Callahan, and you as Tommy Callahan III with significantly less bong water.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty fair comparison.
Columbus, Georgia.
And it was a full on wear a hard hat, everything like that. And now that you're saying that, it does remind me of the scene where they're walking through their warehouse. Yeah, that's a good one. This article though about LeBron and Bronny getting drafted on ESPN was just so funny to me. The Pelinka, a little bit from his statement, the GM for the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, he says, "We know and have to respect, of course, that LeBron has a decision on his opt-out. But if it worked out that he was on our team next season, NBA history could be made." There's never been a father-son duo to suit up together in the NBA. But it's just so funny that they're talking, like you said, yes, he probably will opt out. But I would be 100% shocked if LeBron went to a different team.
Yeah, he's playing for the Lakers.
And then
I'll say it right now, he's ending his career as an LA Laker.
Yeah, it seems like he has totally brought everything with his family over to Los Angeles, and that's where he wants to be. And based on the interest that he has in movies and that kind of production side, obviously Los Angeles is a great place to be for that kind of stuff.
Why wouldn't he cast his son in Space Jam 2?
Well, he did have sons in Space Jam 2.
Yeah, but they weren't his.
I don't, especially the main one definitely wasn't his. There was one that, I don't know if the one who was a basketball player was one of his sons or not, but the one who was a video game designer, I don't know if you saw the movie.
No, I didn't.
I don't know why you guys are talking like this, by the way. I mean, LeBron has no input in any of this.
Oh, that's true. He's been very hands-off.
He's washed his hands of it.
Just LeBron and JJ Redick didn't even talk until he was getting the Lakers job. Those guys, good luck on becoming the Lakers coach. I like this guy. That's cool.
I love the commitment to the gimmick. I approve of it. It's hilarious and it's absurd.
I love this anecdote, too, of yesterday. The James family received the news while gathered together at an intimate dinner party in New York. Sources told ESPN LeBron's mother, Gloria, and wife, Savannah's parents attended, along with some of Bronny's closest friends and confidants. After the Lakers delivered their decision, LeBron led the group in a champagne toast to commemorate the occasion. A source told ESPN and was very emotional considering the weight of the moment. I just love a source told ESPN. What, Maverick Carter?
Rich Paul.
Somebody, hey, here's exactly what's happening. We want this in the article.
The James family got together beforehand. Everybody work on your surprised faces.
I can't believe it. And you're coming to my team?
Wow, who could have seen that but everybody?
Yeah, so, hey, I wonder if LeBron will play any preseason with his son or if they'll wait for the regular season for that debut. I don't know, but LeBron and Bronny James both on the Lakers as of right now, but LeBron could opt out. The NFL, they actually lost in court. More on that next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
Hi, this is Ron from the Good Feet store. Are you standing on painful feet all day? Don't lose hope. We want to help you live without pain. Discover your option and visit goodfeet.com.
Meet Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven. More and more people are falling into problem gambling. It can happen so quickly that you don't realize it until you face a crisis. Gambling issues often connect to depression, anxiety, or other addictions. Maryhaven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance. confidential, and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at MountainDewGaming.com and 2525. Voter prohibited.
Hey, what's up, Buckeye Nation? It's Cardale Jones. Join me Saturday, July 20th at Huntington Park for the Schmitz Cardale Jones charity softball game presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. Come check out former Buckeye greats take on this year's current Buckeye stars such as Emeka Ibuka, Jaden Ballard, and many more. Come see and meet the Buckeyes before they hit the field this fall. Gates open at 5 p.m. Contests and prizes all night long. Home run derby at 6:30 and the game to follow. Tickets available at BuckeyeCruise.com. Why picnic when you can Schmicknick? Get your $10 tickets now at BuckeyeCruise.com.
The Buckeyes are starting fall camp and we're tagging along. The Fan is broadcasting live August 1st through the 4th at Ohio State football practice. Morning Juice and Bishop and Friends Thursday and Friday, plus live weekend programming. Let's go.
At Take 5, we're faster than you think. That means we'll change your oil and get you back on the road in less time than it takes to get over from the express lane to the exit ramp. Just sit back and relax while our fast, friendly team does all the work. Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change.
Hi, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Need a perfect gift? Check out the new line of Glock watches and other stunning jewelry at Worthington Jewelers. Make every occasion sparkle with Worthington Jewelers, where exceptional gifts await.
O'Reilly! Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hoops All Friends edition on this Friday. Hope everybody's enjoying the fine summer weather. After the rain cleared up this week, it's been really nice. Yesterday was a great day, and it looks like we're going to have another nice one today. Baker had a funny idea in the break there. Why don't you share it, Bake? It was your comment.
No, I was just saying, like, what happens if Bronny gets in a game and makes a bad play or something? Does LeBron pull him over to the sideline and turn him over his knee and paddle him, or how does he handle that?
And it made me think, like, what will LeBron do if Bronny, and I wouldn't think that he would, but who knows? He's a young guy. He could have a lapse, whatever. What if he does what J.R. Smith did in that finals game? And remember how LeBron reacted? Now, it was a finals game, so there was extra stuff on top of it, but, like, what's LeBron going to do?
Yeah, he'll probably, I mean, I can't imagine a scenario where he does obviously what Baker's suggesting, or even a verbal tongue lashing, because I think he's smart and savvy enough to know that leads SportsCenter. Mm-hmm. When LeBron gets into his son, like, that's the A block, because they're already doing it. Get ups, they're 45 minutes in, and on one of the televisions in the studio, they've got the Bronny James news. It's interesting. Alexander tweets in at 971BFS. So if you want to interact with us, there's dozens of ways to do it, or maybe just 2 ways right now. There's the YouTube chat. There's, again, at 971BFS asking, wouldn't the kid have more pressure due to who their dad is? And I say in most situations, but if your dad's LeBron, I don't know if there's much pressure right now. Now, there can become, that pressure can mount, but right now, I don't think there's really any.
There will be some guys, the like habitual line stepper type players who are going to go after Bronny any chance they get. But the NBA seems, especially like with LeBron's era, and not many of those guys are left, but I think now the new guys respect him so much that, yeah, I think they'd be afraid because LeBron is right there. He's not going to be just a kid on a different team that's playing somewhere. LeBron is going to be right there if Bronny is ever in a game. So I think that the respect will trail over to that, but there will be some guys who are going to be in his ear anytime he's on the court.
Sure,
that's for sure.
I could see Draymond chirping at him, but only to help, because Draymond and LeBron are friends, and it's to your point. There's so much respect for James, for the father, that it's not going to be a lot right now. Now it can build and mount, but I think most people who understand the NBA, or most people, or even I would say just most people, they get what this is, and they understand that he's not an NBA draftable asset right now. He's a guy, like I think it's Jamison Battle got asked to the Toronto Raptors summer league team. Mm-hmm. He's going to work out for them. Like, that would be Bronny's situation, right? If he decided that he was in fact going to leave USC and his dad wasn't LeBron James. So, yeah, Greg has a great point on the YouTube chat. They probably won't be in the game much at the same time. Yeah, when they're up by 20. All right, Bronny, get in and grab some assists.
Here's something you don't see often. The NFL was brought to court and they lost. Now it's going to be appealed, so who knows? I mean, this has been going on since like 2017. This NFL Sunday Ticket antitrust lawsuit that's going on. But a jury in U.S. District Court ordered the NFL to pay more than $4.7 billion in damages Thursday after ruling that the league violated antitrust laws in distributing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on a premium subscription service. The jury awarded $4.7 billion in damages to the residential class and $96 million in damages to the commercial class. Since damages can be tripled under federal antitrust laws, the NFL could end up being liable for $14.39 billion. The lawsuit, it covered 2.4 million residential subscribers and 48,000 businesses in the United States who paid for the package of out-of-market games from the 2011 season through the 2022 season on DirecTV, the only platform it was available until they signed that deal with YouTube TV last year. The lawsuit claimed that the league broke antitrust laws by selling its package of Sunday games at an inflated price. The subscribers also say the league restricted competition by offering Sunday Ticket only on a satellite provider. So that was their argument, and apparently it worked in court. The NFL says, well, there are other ways to watch it. There's Red Zone, there's NFL Plus. It's not just Sunday Ticket, but the court thought otherwise. As I said, the lawsuit was originally filed in 2015. This I got a cut for this one because it was first brought up by the Mucky Duck Sports Bar in San Francisco. And when I heard this, I thought immediately of this clip from The Office.
R is among the most menacing of sounds. That's why they call it murder and not muck duck. Okay.
So the Mucky Duck Sports Bar brought up a lawsuit, became class action, and that's why it's one of the most menacing of sounds. Mucky Duck Sports Bar gets the NFL to lose there. And the main argument for it was that these games, that the NFL was actually inflating the price artificially of NFL Sunday Ticket so that more people weren't watching whatever team they wanted and were instead watching their local Fox and CBS broadcasts during those days. Like I said, it's going to be appealed, but you don't see it very often that the NFL loses in court.
No, and if you were a Sunday Ticket purchaser between June 17th, 2011 through February 7th, 2023, NFLSundayTicketLawsuit.com is where you'll want to go to at least see what you can get from this.
Yeah, if it's $4 billion and there's 2.4 million people,
again, it'll be appealed forever because of the NFL's army of lawyers, and the man at the top is himself an attorney. But sometime, eventually, maybe you could get a chunk of change back for what has always been, in my opinion, the biggest waste of money is that Sunday Ticket package. And I get it.
But it stinks, if you're out of market and you want to watch your team. Like J-Lo's dad lives down in Florida, big Jets fan, so he always has it because he has to watch his Jets. if you moved somewhere that in Columbus, you get most of the Browns games, you can obviously always find a bar where it's going to be on as well. If you don't get it,
I guess
on,
that's the
on
biggest
CBS
thing in this is the restaurant and bar owners were being gouged for these.
Yes. Would you pay for Sunday ticket?
No.
Oh, that's right.
What do you mean?
Well, yeah, there's no other way to watch these NFL games.
What are you saying?
But the argument is really interesting because the NFL is saying that they have antitrust exemption. That's something that they've had for their television rights for years. But it's one of those ones where, like, I don't know who's right in this one. I don't know where I feel on it. That, like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but doesn't the NFL?
Bleep the NFL.
Yeah, you're right, but they do have the rights to sell theirs. What they own, however they want, because of that antitrust exemption that they have. That's why it's weird that they lost, because they have the exemption.
Fascinated with why, because it is theirs and they can price it however they want to. And I wonder what, if any, they found of actual evidence to support that no, the NFL colluded with their partners to make this package so much more expensive so that they would turn their eyeballs to CBS and Fox.
The real question is, how liable is John Taffer in all of this? The bar rescue guy? He has for years, and I think he was like in the working group.
Prison. Send him to prison.
He for years claims he invented NFL Sunday Ticket. Like he had the idea for it. So, well, Bar Rescue, are you going to sue Bar Rescue next?
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, he's got to be the next plaintiff in this. It's a tremendous idea from a restaurant standpoint. Is you pay one fee, you get all of the games, you drive business, and that drives revenue. So it's paying for itself on Sunday games where you can offer all of these things. But to gouge like the NFL does is an example of greed gone wrong, and it's refreshing for me to see that they're being held to that.
Yeah, and the restaurant one too, like it's like $100 a month or whatever Sunday ticket costs. It's pretty expensive for an individual. I'm assuming because that's how like pay-per-view works. Yeah. A business pays an even higher price when they're showing a ton of people in their restaurant. So yeah, whatever they were paying, it was.
And it's not like the NFL needs this money.
No. Now, if they have to pay $14 billion, that's like it's $449.6 million per each 32 NFL team. That's a big chunk of change. They don't need they don't want to have to spend that money. But yeah, you're right. They do not need to price gouge at all on NFL Sunday Ticket. They're making money hand over fist on their television deal already.
But this does feel that it'll go to settlement if the NFL decides they're tired of appealing.
Yeah, I mean it's already been going on for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Coming up, what does EA think of Ohio State's defense? Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan.
So, you've noticed something wrong with your roof. You don't know where to begin. And the thought of finding the right company to handle this important piece of your home is a bit overwhelming. Let Newman Roofing make it easy for you. First, start with a company who has built a trustworthy reputation for the last 32 years. We've got you covered. Then, when you ask us what makes us different from other roofing companies, we can tell you 3 things: our policies, customer experience, and most importantly, our people. At Newman Roofing, we have a team of professionals that take pride in their work, focusing on making sure every single question you ask gets answered thoroughly and thoughtfully, every step of the way. After all, we're here to support you, so you understand what's going on with your roof and you can make the best decision to fit your needs. Let us be the difference for you. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale. Hello. Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds.
Awesome.
Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at ikea-usa.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and ikea-usa.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. Noelvi Marte returned from an 80-game suspension, and he didn't miss a beat. He goes 3 for 5. He scores 3 runs. He drives another one in, and the Reds rout the Cardinals 11-4. Ellie De La Cruz 3 for 5 as well. Spencer Steer, a big 2-run home run. Here's Jonathan India having Noelvi back.
Hell of a player, hell of a talent. Look what he did tonight. A great game. Just coming out swinging like he usually does, and had an unbelievable game. So it's big boost for our lineup.
After winning 7 straight, the Guardians have lost 2 in a row. They fall to the Royals 2-1. Ben Lively was strong on the mound, but gives up 2 runs in the 6th inning and gets the loss. Round 1 of the NHL draft tonight at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Some are saying the Blue Jackets could end up being the center of the NHL universe. Our draft coverage with Bob McElligott, Dylan Tyre, and Jody Shelley gets underway at 7 o'clock.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
EA's ranking weeks continues, so we've got some defensive rankings. We can compare those to the offensive ones, and then later today we will get the full team rankings, or at least the top 25. I imagine the Buckeyes are going to be in that. That in a moment. I heard Baker, though, in the update talking about the NHL draft is tonight, and then it will keep going as well on Saturday, just the first round tonight. Out in Vegas, that's got to be a fun time for all those guys.
Yeah, the Sphere.
Oh, yeah, it is in the Sphere. What's that going to look like? When they're like, are they going to put, like, what are they going to put on the inside screens? What are they going to put on the outside screens?
Giant face of, Macklin Celebrini. Just his face is the whole screen when they draft him.
It's really unfortunate because...
when San Jose drafts him number 1 overall.
Because one of the big things they did when the Sphere first opened up was they did the basketball on the outside. Well, a hockey puck isn't a ball, so I don't know how you'd really do it. Plus, it's normally black.
A goal light, like the red light.
There you go. That's a good one because, yeah, hockey puck wouldn't work on the Sphere there. But the Jackets have the 4th overall pick, or do they? I don't know.
Right now they do.
There's a lot of news, rumors, we'll say, of going around that the Blue Jackets, including Elliot Friedman, works for Sportsnet up in Canada. Columbus is the center of the universe, he said. That's a quote in terms of tonight's
Is just talking
NHL
hockey
draft.
Or overall?
Columbus is the center of the universe.
Guys, this, and obviously I love the Blue Jackets. I pay attention to it a lot, but this does not surprise me at all.
No.
When we were at when I was at the press conference a couple weeks ago with Don Waddell, I asked him if he was going to be aggressive, and he kind of tiptoed around that word aggressive. But just the way he answered the question and being there and seeing his body language, I kind of got a feeling he's going to swing big this offseason.
Well, and he's like totally in charge right now. He's the GM and he is in charge of hockey operations as JD took a lesser role, stepping back a little bit. There's no head coach right now. It's weird. It's kind of technically the 2nd year in a row that the Jackets have gone into the draft without a coach. Last year, they had agreed to hire Babcock, but he was not with them yet because they had to wait until July because nobody wanted to pay out the rest of his contract.
Were the Leafs giving him like $500,000 or something?
It might even been more than that, but he was getting paid still from the Leafs until July 1st.
That's incredible.
Good, the Jackets. I mean, the whole thing was stupid, but at least they didn't like do some sort of buyout to get him there a few weeks earlier because he obviously didn't even make it to the season. But yeah, no coach right now. Maybe that's something that Columbus is going to be working on, and we'll see. But with that number 4 pick and all of this scuttlebutt, keep an eye on that on the Blue Jackets tonight.
So I think Baker had it when, breaking down Don Waddell's body language. There's this feels like, and the more, I guess, the closer we get to the draft, which again will be tonight at 7, we'll have coverage on the Fan. Bob McElligott, Dylan Tyre, and Jody Shelley will be live from the Sphere in Vegas. But it feels like he's not interested in doing a 4 to 5 year rebuild. He wants to really spark this now. And so that'll come with the head coach with NHL experience. And then at 4, if there's a team that wants a prospect right now, it feels like the Jackets got enough prospects. If you can send somebody to Columbus that's got a couple years NHL experience, actual NHL experience, and they're going to give you a pretty good ransom for that 4th overall pick, I mean, you're doing it yesterday.
And remember, too, these prospects aren't Don Waddell's prospects, so they could be even more expendable.
Part of those packages. Yeah,
You're hearing a lot of, and obviously because Don Waddell came from Carolina, you're hearing Carolina in a deal surrounding Marty Necas. The Jackets in Philadelphia supposedly
they send Laine to Carolina?
They could, if Carolina wants to take him on. So there's a lot of interesting things in play tonight, it sounds like, for the Jackets.
Just a couple of weeks away from the EA college football game coming back into our lives. Everybody is very excited about that, and EA hasn't had to do much marketing, but they've at least put all the people to work that are interested in covering this. A few weeks ago, they brought some of the people, Matt Brown, who writes that Extra Points newsletter, Chris Vanini was down there. They brought him in to play some of the video games. So some people have played it, and now those same people are getting these press releases of, hey, here's the rankings in the game. And it's been drumming up interest all week. We were talking about the stadium rankings earlier this week. We talked about the offensive rankings yesterday also.
Yesterday afternoon.
Yes, the defensive rankings came out. And then today, the full team rankings. So we're hoping to have those during our show, but we'll see. I imagine the Buckeyes are going to be somewhere in the top 2 or 3 of that because on defense, they come in with a pretty nice cushion here over the Georgia Bulldogs. We thought Georgia was going to come in number 1 on defense after they came in number 1 on offense. Now they're pretty far ahead offensively from Ohio State. Ohio State an 89 and Georgia a 94. So Buckeyes are a 96 overall on defense, Georgia a 94 overall on defense, only a 2-point difference there. I imagine Georgia's going to get that top spot. That seems like the average is going to work out for them, that they're going to get it. But the Buckeyes coming in with all of those returning guys, plus you add Caleb Downs at safety. Yes, this defense is going to be lights out this year. The full-on silver bullets, get ready for it. That would be the most disappointing thing to me, besides losing to Michigan for a 4th straight year, if the defense didn't live up to this hype, because it looks like every box is checked, and this Buckeye defense is going to be great.
Yeah, the 96.2, suck at Georgia at 94.3. The thing I think is really cool about this when it comes out is you'll have these rankings for this year, and then they'll fluctuate, obviously, every single year, and you'll have the names on the backs of the jerseys. You'll have the actual players themselves. What I'm really looking forward to is when we get to Ohio State's camp on August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and we'll be out there doing live shows for those 4 days, is to when we interact with some of the players and the coaches, ask them how they think about their overall player rankings compared to their other teammates. Mm-hmm. And then because obviously, James Laurinaitis played and Brian Hartline played, they had overalls from when they were players. And to see where they stack up then to where some of their players stack up now.
Did you hear yesterday they were talking about that on Man and Bone with Threes, and he was saying he got some street cred when the players found out he was a 99?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I buy that. Consensus All-American, All-American, All-American.
That'll be really interesting. What are the Buckeye player ranks going to be?
Yeah.
That'll be another thing
because
we can go over.
So that'll be interesting for us to talk about, but what I'm excited about is putting that in front of them and seeing and getting their reactions to it. Because they do it with the NFL players, and it works out really well. But I think for some of these kids, that this is their first, and with the NFL players, they've had a couple of years to do this now. They get it. They've been in Madden editions. This is the first time in a decade that you've had a college football game, and these are the first crop of guys that get to experience this.
And college teams, some of them might even have a more active digital team than some NFL teams. So that is I would assume they're going to do the 99 Club thing, and those videos are going to be produced and put out on Twitter. And again, more free marketing and advertising. They'll have to spend a little bit on whatever comes in that box.
They've done such a good job, EA has, of marketing without really having to market.
No, I have not seen a commercial. I've seen the video for it, but I've not seen a commercial on TV for it.
But you've had that. It was under, I think, 3rd Avenue going towards Grandview. They had posters they had Notre Dame posters and they had Ohio State posters for this video game. They were the painted on kind of posters that you see with the rollers. And so that's kind of some of the marketing that they've done. But when we talk about Chris Vanini and some of the other journalists that have been invited to go play this game, the trade's been, here, you come, play the game, experience it, then write about it for us.
And they've just knocked that out of the park. That's worked great for them. It's so weird that there are still some people like, why isn't EA marketing this? Like, no, they are. And they're doing actually a really good job with it. It's funny you mentioned those posters too. You ever been to New York, right?
Yes.
So they've got, the scaffolding everywhere, and all of those, the ones on the street level have the boards up, and it says post no bills, and they're all just covered with posters.
Is that what that means?
Yeah. It's
okay.
It means don't post like a bill poster.
Sure.
like a playbill is the thing for like a Broadway show.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of where it all comes from there. But yeah, Buckeyes come in at number 1 on defense, 96 overall, Georgia 94. Then there's a bunch of 90s and for 5 straight ones: Oregon, Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Michigan, and then there's a bunch of 88s all the way down to number 13, which is Iowa, but they're tied with Texas, Penn State, Utah, Florida State, Oklahoma. Now here's an interesting one that is just like, come on, guys, what? There is a little bit of this where I do think EA is drumming up the teams that people are interested in so that they go, I want to play with this team because people talk about them so often. So there's 2 on this list. One carries over from yesterday as well that was like, why are they in the top 10 of offenses? But I want to start with this first one. 86 overall, USC defense. Nope. Just no, there's no way. It is not possible that USC is the 16th best defense in the country right now. They are replacing their defensive coordinator, so maybe they get better. They're losing defensive recruits left and right now. They were they were a full-on liability last year. I do not see how this team and program just changes that and becomes the 16th best defense right now.
You did it. You just did it. Because that's what gets you to talk about it. And it's one of those things for me when looking at some of these, it feels very much like a preseason top 25 in college basketball. Well, we got to put someone somewhere. So I don't know. Yeah, USC, sure, throw them in there. And let Auburn and LSU fans get mad. Let LSU and Texas A&M fans get pissed about this. And then Colorado at 20 because of Travis Hunter. Cool. Let's do it.
So Colorado's in the top 10
do it and have that discussion.
And they're 20th in defense. So they're going to be maybe a top 10, but at least a top 15 program in this. And no, they're not quite there. They have some star players. They're really exciting. And that's what I think it was Chris Vannini was putting that out there. And I think there is a little bit of, hey, people talk about Colorado. They're excited about Deion.
Yep.
We have to make this team fun to play with in the game because people are going to want to play with them. And if you made it realistically, they would have some players that are fun to play with, but overall they wouldn't be that great of a team. I guess my big problem with it, it's not really a problem. It makes sense because in the NFL, they're constantly updating player rankings throughout the season. They go to all these places and they make sure they get everybody. Just the sheer numbers of 130 plus FPS programs being in the video game, there's no way that they can do it as comprehensively as they do for Madden. And that's what you're getting, where I think there is some fill in the blanks. Like you said, well, we got to rank somebody.
Put somebody there. So why not? Why not a team that you're going to see a lot of people play with? Like, they're going to have numbers for everything. They're going to have, teams that have been most played, players that have had, the most time online. You'll have metrics for all of this stuff, and you're likely going to see Colorado at the top of most teams played. You're going to see some obscure programs, like maybe the Ohio University Bobcats get up there because they just want to do a dynasty mode with OU, or Pittsburgh, like Eric did. However, Larry Fitzgerald was on the cover, so I forget which year it was, but I had a dynasty with Pittsburgh because it was Larry Fitzgerald and LaShawn McCoy, and that was fun as hell to play as.
I remember that one, and remember the Joey Harrington one with Oregon. Yeah. So like I said, the team rankings are coming out today. I think Ohio State's probably going to come in at number 2. They were 5th in offense, 1st in defense. Georgia's probably going to get that number 1 spot. Then Oregon, they'll be number 3, maybe even number 2, because they're 2 on offense and 3rd on defense. So they're at least 2, or they're at least 3, and they might be number 2. Alabama's probably going to be high up there. I mean, they match up really nicely in the top 5 of the defense and offense. There's a lot of the same players. Texas, the largest faller from being in the top 5 of the offense, but only down to 8 on the defensive side.
It's funny, we were talking about like the blue chip rankings earlier this week, and we've done preseason odds, and it all kind of looks the same. The EA Sports, offense and defensive ratings are same as like the top blue chip prospect getters, or the same as the preseason title odds.
Yep.
This all matters.
We'll take a look at some of those odds coming up next. Plus, we talk a lot about football media deals, but what is college basketball worth? More on that next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
I'm Kelly Burris, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Columbus area attorneys. 10 West Broad Street, Suite 1550, Columbus, Ohio, 43215. CordellCordell.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Ohio Basement Authority. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Hello, loyal listener. Make sure to spend your summer with The Fan. Are you going on a road trip? Don't suffer through the bad playlists and hillbilly radio stations. Download the Fan app and take us with you. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The best of rivals. The best of 2 leagues meet again this summer. MLS versus Liga MX face off in the 2024 MLS All-Star starting Sunday, July 21st. After a weekend of soccer celebrations, MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T will come to Lower.com Field on Tuesday, July 23rd, featuring MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX All-Stars as they show off the best of their skills. The 2 teams will match up once more at the 2024 MLS All-Star Game, presented by Target on Wednesday, July 24th. For more information on tickets and events, visit MLSsoccer.com/All-Star. The Ohio Egg Fest is back for its 10th year, presented by Specialty Gas House and Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. Join us for this big green egg grilling competition at Fortress Obetz on Saturday, July 27th. Enjoy all-you-can-eat food from 36 cook teams, live music from North to Nashville, cooking demos, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on discounted big green egg grill packages with over $600 off retail and a lifetime warranty. Pre-order online at theohioeggfest.com today. Before they sell out, all proceeds benefit cancer research at the James. Get your discounted big green egg grills and your taster tickets now at theohioeggfest.com.
I've always wanted 3 kids. I came from a family of 3 kids, and I started picturing having 3 car seats in the back of my truck.
That's Megan, Wisconsin native, working mom of 2 and lifelong conservative. Megan never thought she would get an abortion until a diagnosis late in her pregnancy changed everything.
Doctors told us our baby had no chance to survive. And because of Wisconsin's abortion ban, I would be forced to carry my baby for months, knowing he would die. It felt like a bad dream. It felt like a bad dream.
To get the care she needed, Megan had to leave the state. And now if senators in Washington pass a national abortion ban, families like Megan's will have nowhere to turn.
These decisions should be made privately amongst women and their families. And government should have no say in that. No senator in Washington should support a national abortion ban.
Paid for by Free and Just. Visit freeandjust.us to learn more.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now, 800-230-5174.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy today with a high of 86. Tonight,
partly cloudy, low 73. Tomorrow, look for showers and thunderstorms with a high of 85. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your Doppler 10 forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop & Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Chops and Reese are with you today. Baker spinning the dials across the glass. We got some YouTube chat. It's not quite a fact check, but just a, hey, here's what you guys were talking about the NCAA game.
Yeah,
in the
here's
previous.
What I was wondering was which NCAA college football game had Larry Fitzgerald on the cover, because I won several national championships with him and LaShawn McCoy at Pitt. And Scrooge chimes in, NCAA 05 was that game. A copy of that came with Fitzgerald on the cover, came with his Xbox. So you bought an Xbox, you got NCAA 05. You also had Top Spin on the same disc.
We were both like, what is that, a golf game?
Felt like a golf game. Nope. Tennis.
Tennis actually a decent video game.
Did you play Top Spin?
I've never played Top Spin, but I've played other, there was Wii Sports, which that one obviously interactive, but then you ever played the Mario Sports ones? They had a tennis one.
I've done Wii Tennis, and that is a lot of fun, but none of the other tennis games I've played.
Did you ever lose the remote and throw it at a TV?
No, I never. I had a Wii for a couple of years and never once threw it at the television.
What did you play this NCAA game on? Were you an Xbox guy?
PlayStation 2.
A PlayStation 2 guy. If you are interested in NCAA 05 with Larry Fitzgerald on the cover and Top Spin for your Xbox, it's available right now on Amazon. It says renewed. I guess that means refurbished. I don't know. It's a disc. $5.
Spray some Windex on it and just give it the squeegee on the back so the thing can read the disc.
You know what we used to do, and it's really gross thinking back to it. My brother said, this definitely works. Who knows if it did?
He hawked to it?
No.
Okay.
Spit on that thing. No, we would take the disc.
I thought that's where you're going with it.
We would take the disc in our hand and put it in the toilet bowl and flush.
That's somehow worse.
I've heard that, though. People used to say that fixed the scratches and stuff on them.
Because the whirling of the water was a really nice, clean, well, not clean, but a non-abrasive way to clean the disc. And then you dry it off and you put it back in the system. And
you took a $60 video game disc and you put it in the toilet and flushed.
It worked. I was a child and it worked. So, yeah.
That's incredible.
Let us know in the YouTube chat if there were any other ways you cleaned your video game discs whenever they got scratched up. You were talking about the college football playoff odds and the national championship odds. And, yeah, it's the same players all throughout. Georgia, OSU, Texas, Oregon, Alabama. Those are your top 5 odds people on various betting platforms right now. And that's what the top 5 is going to look a lot like that. That's what the rankings in the video game are, because right now in college football, we've seen this play in and year out, that it's the same players every year that are in these conversations of actually can win the national championship. Now it's going to balloon to the 12 teams, so more teams will have a chance at the playoff, and there will be some upsets. But I would venture to guess that out of that group of 5 right there, Georgia, OSU, Texas, Oregon, Alabama, don't take the field.
Revolving. They'll be
those
involved.
5 will probably win the national championship.
And they'll be involved in the next couple of playoffs. All 5 of them.
Yeah, when?
No, that's not true, because 3 of them are in the SEC. Well, actually,
the SEC will have 3 teams in, right?
Probably at the least.
I would think so. Yes. I guess we'll see what happens with Oregon, but I really like what Dan Lanning's running there right now. But they have kind of a fluctuating program every once in a while, and same with Texas. But it does look like Sark has that rolling as well. Obviously, the quarterback room really good there. But DeBoer at Alabama. Yeah, a little shaky at the beginning, but he has kind of turned that back around. Something that, as I mentioned, USC, they had another defensive decommitment here. Whew, things are not going well for them right now. And we have Paul Feinbaum on every week, and he's talked a lot about Lincoln Riley.
The fraud.
Yeah, basically. And I was maybe half joking when Staley got fired for the Chargers last year. I was like, oh, Lincoln Riley could take that job. He wouldn't even have to move. Now eventually that goes to Jim Harbaugh, but I think that's probably where Lincoln Riley's mind is now.
It does feel like that's the path that he's going. All right, I've got a couple people here that are saying toothpaste wipe down for your video game discs.
I did not do the toothpaste.
How does that work? Do you like toothpaste all around the disc and then you wipe it off?
I think it's just to fill in the scratch is the idea. Is that what it's meant to do? You know, like
I
you
don't
can
know.
rub a walnut on wooden furniture and fill in like a little chip on it.
I think those are two wildly different things, Chops. I don't think that works at all.
That was a coffee table and a video game disc. Different.
Uh-huh. I mean, I would just I was very anal, and so I took extra care of the video game discs, and so I would just use a napkin. I would use a Kleenex, and I would just gently wipe it if it had any debris on it.
No.
Toothpaste and toilet flushing are how you heathens were cleaning your discs as kids.
It worked.
All right.
Don't
Chris,
question the
Chris
method.
agrees with you. Yeah, it's supposed to fill in the scratches.
There you go.
And again, and I shouldn't call you guys names. If it works, it works, damn it. Because back then, I know for me, those games are, $50, $60. That's a lot. It's a lot as a kid.
Man, PS2 had so many games. That was also, but at least then, like, resale worked. You could go into a GameStop, or we had a place called Rhino Video Games near where I lived, and they had great resale value. And they would actually give you good stuff for your trade-ins. Those days are gone. You ever go into a video game? Like, when's the last time you were in a video game store?
It's been maybe more than a decade.
I go in every once in a while if I'm like around one. I don't really go to them, but if I'm in a strip mall and it has a GameStop, sometimes I'll stop in, and all the used games are like $55 and the new one's $60, and it's just like, what's the point?
I would just pay the $5 to get the guarantee,
right?
Because then I could bring that in. Because I wonder what. And now again, the last video game console I bought was an N64 off a buddy of mine 6 years ago. I haven't played anything on the Xbox One. I haven't played anything on what the PS5 would be now, but it feels like now you just download it.
Yeah,
you don't get physical discs.
I got the Switch Lite and for Christmas one year, a couple of years ago, and I got one physical game. It was Animal Crossing, and every other game I've gotten, I've just downloaded.
I've enjoyed a good Mario Kart 8 on the Switch.
Yeah.
I have friends that have that. That's fun as a party.
I keep an eye on that one to see if it ever goes on sale. That's how I ended up with Mario Odyssey recently, because it was on sale. A sale here for the basketball television rights of Big East has come to fruition. So this is from Amanda Kristovich, friend of the show, works for Front Office Sports. The Big East has signed a 6-year media deal with Fox, who will continue to be their primary rights holder. But into the fold are NBC and TNT. So TNT's going to have some more basketball as they're supposedly losing the NBA. That sounds like what it's going to happen. So are they going to try to put that crew onto Big East basketball?
I hope so. Well, Barkley's retiring.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to be done broadcasting anything.
So Amanda Kristovich with this. The Big East has inked a 6-year media deal, Fox, NBC, TNT, sports starting in 2025-26. So that'll be not this coming season, but the next season. The deal is a culmination of the conference's decade-long rebuild after being picked apart by realignment in 2013. She says the Big East is doing just fine. One source suggests to Front Office Sports that the league will see an increase of around 30 to 40% on the average annual value of the current deal. So future deal could be worth in the $55 million range annually, divided among the schools. When I first read that, I was like, 55? Wow, that's really good. No, that's the total.
Per school.
No, that's the total.
That gets divvied up per school.
So are there 10 teams in the Big East, 12 teams? I don't know. But either way, it's not going to...
But if it's a 30% increase, okay, you take it.
It's good for them, but it just makes me question like what Brett Yormark is doing down in the Big 12 of like trying to position basketball as like the Big 12 can really sell this and make it exciting, and the Big East, great basketball conference as well, and that's what they're getting. Mm-hmm. So we've always thought that, but now to see the actual numbers, I just don't think you're going to be able to make much money selling your basketball programming.
No, but you're going to be, again, I think we all compare this in the vein of the college football and what the Big Ten and the SEC are doing. And those are the only two conferences that are going to command anything with what you're seeing in the $80 million range per member.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going to have to claw and scratch at what they can get, whatever they can.
And maybe get private equity to buy in.
You never know. I mean, there's a lot of strong academic institutions with the schools in the Big East, and they're predominantly basketball. And so if that's, where they want to hitch their wagon to, we're the basketball conference of record, because they've got the defending national champion. Mm-hmm. And so if that's what they want to do, that I think in a similar sense to what the Big 12 did was it's a radical acceptance to who you are.
The Schmitz Cardale Jones Celebrity Softball Game is coming. Why picnic when you can Schmitnick? And is presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. It's going to be on Saturday, July 20th, 6:30 p.m. at Huntington Park. Ooh, it's going to be current Ohio State football players versus former Ohio State football players. You got Cardale Jones, Obviously, he's the captain of the former players team, and Emeka Egbuka is going to be in charge of the current players. Apparently, he can rake. He's a good baseball player. Tickets are only $10. They've come down a little bit, so get out there. They're available today at BuckeyeCruise.com, and obviously, it helps out with Buckeye Cruise. Helps us out every Friday when we talk to Tim May. Joins us next, Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
Come play Skyline's 75th Coney Hunt game. Use your phone to search for virtual conies, tap to collect coins, and redeem them for exclusive Skyline merchandise at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Details at SkylineChili.com/Coney Hunt.
It's a summer savings extravaganza at Kemba Financial Credit Union. You pick how you want your money to grow. Choose a limited time 13-month certificate at up to 5.25% annual percentage yield to lock in your savings with a $500 minimum deposit. Or enjoy access to your funds anytime with a money market at 4.75% APY intro rate until October 31st with a $5,000 minimum balance and a $1 million maximum. Visit Kemba.org for details. Restrictions apply. Advantage status required. Federally insured by NCUA.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out. Summer grilling just got better with new Pepsi Lime and Pepsi Peach. Available for a limited time.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here, and I want you to picture this. Cannonballs into the lake, s'mores at the fire pit, sleeping under the stars. Well, that could be you when you visit my friends at RCD RV. RCD is having its summer open house, and you don't want to miss it. Huge RV savings all month long in June. New travel trailers as low as $14,995. The area's widest selection, over 600 new and pre-owned RVs in stock. Start your summer adventure at RCD RV. Visit one of the 3 Central Ohio locations or online anytime at RCDRV.com.
Save $40 on any repair of $150 or more at AAA Car Care Plus. Not a member? Not a problem. Everyone can save on auto repair at AAA Car Care Plus locations. Offer ends March 30th. See store for details.
Are you thirsty for Buckeye football? Join the Fan's Timmy Hall as he digs around the archives to bring you classic matchups from yesteryear. That's right, yesteryear. Buckeye Replay.
Every Saturday at 1 starting July 6th.
The Fan.
At Hollywood Casino Columbus, you're always in the driver's seat. Don't miss our $50,000 trucker cash giveaway at Hollywood Columbus. Pick between driving off in a brand new 2025 Ram 1500 or $40,000 in Penn slot play or $30,000 in cash. Grand prize awarded on Saturday, June 29th. Earn entries on your slot and table gameplay all month long. For more information, visit HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken, but when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
O'Reilly. You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
We with friends like these. Who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Chaps and Reeser with you today, heading out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Talk to our good friend Tim May of the Tim May Show. You can find that wherever you find Letterman Row things. Tim, we've been getting it all week. It's been rankings week for the EA college football game. So Buckeyes come in at number 1 on defense. They're number 5 on offense. They are in the top 5 for the stadium rankings. For you, does all that seem accurate, or do you have a bone to pick with any of the rankings coming out?
It all seems accurate because I'm not really paying attention that much to it, number 1. Number 2, I don't really care. But number 3, offensively, what still needs to be proven is that, is Will Howard going to be the starting quarterback, and how really good is he? Who's their starting right guard? I can understand there being some slight question marks about the offense. Otherwise, they've got the best weapons, I think, in total in college football this year. Some people can argue that point. And then defensively, this could be a defense, in the modern times. We're talking about modern times. This could be a defense for the ages, But it's really funny. I'm playing in this golf scramble up here in Ashland, and a bunch of Buckeyes, former Buckeyes, are playing in it. And every time I keep talking about this being the best roster, top to bottom, that I've covered at Ohio State in 41 years, that doesn't mean it's the best players, because they're standing right in front of me at the check-in line was Andy Kassenmorier, who was a pretty good middle linebacker, and just right on down the line, Braxton Miller's playing in this thing. Dane Sonsenbacher, is now, part and parcel to the fan. He's playing this thing. There's been a lot of damn good football players come through. But, I think that sounds about right based on going into the year. Something y'all can help me with here, though. Do they update those kind of things as the season goes along? Do you get when you sign on to Google or something and you get an update to Google, do they actually update your software as the year goes on?
In the releases, it says that the rankings are subject to change. So, yes, I think it is something they're going to. But I don't know how they're going to have the man hours to monitor 130 FBS programs.
Correct. But they've got guys that do stuff like that. I mean, like my son Corey, my middle kid, my son Corey, is a Cleveland sports savant, and he always knows everything about every team in Cleveland and how good they're playing, who they should trade for, et cetera. So, I'm sure they can do those kind of things and be fairly accurate about it.
Tim, outside of the flight simulator, what was the last video game you played?
I used to play, I've told Bo this before, I used to play NFL Madden, or the Madden game, and I would take the Indianapolis Colts when they had Edgerrin James and Peyton Manning and just run about 3 different plays matriculate right down the gridiron. And Edgerrin James was a beast in that when I mixed it up with play action. And so, I used to play. And I like Flight Simulator. I like Formula One. Formula One used to have a great game where you could actually tune the car specifically to every corner. And I'm talking about specifically every corner of the car. And I enjoyed playing that. But I haven't really gotten into playing the college football thing, because the game I played way back when wasn't very good, in my opinion. I don't remember even which one it was, but it is what it is. You play what's in front of you.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of excitement about it because the newest one comes out on July 19th, and the last one came out, a little over a decade ago. But just when talking to the players and covering the teams that you did when the game was in existence, was there ever a lot of talk amongst them that you would listen to where they would compare their stats from the game with each other?
No, because I don't think I don't think back then it was nearly as realistic as it is now, from the standpoint of being able to manipulate, do the things you wanted to do with different players and stuff. But I never heard a whole lot of scuttlebutt about that. I mean, among the players, it just seemed like the guy you were playing with was wearing the number of the player. Obviously, he didn't have the name on the back because you can't reward players in any form or fashion. But no, it never got to that point. Let me put it that way.
Tim, going on to the actual real life college football, I feel like this news that came out of the Division I Council this week was kind of overlooked. But this idea that now all the analysts and you can have as many coaches as you want do on-field instruction, both at practice and in the game, but you are still limited to the recruiters. I know they have to spend a certain amount of time on campus, but do you see a possibility that some programs are like going to game this and have almost full-time recruiters and analysts coaching more often? Or what do you think will be the repercussions of this?
They're going to play it. I mean, it's kind of like auto racing. You read the new rule, and then if you're really good, if you're a car tuner or a really good mechanic, you take the car to the nth degree of whatever that gray area is, But it's almost like you could have guys getting in each other's way trying to coach. I got a better idea here and stuff. But here's the bottom line. I mean, these guys have been around for a long time now. Staffs have been growing almost daily, it seems like. And I just remember it was the Hard Knocks version of college football a few years ago with Alabama and Nick Saban. They had this a couple of times. They had shots of their morning meeting room where Nick is like sitting at this big table. And I swear you could count like 18 people who were in the picture, and the camera was like on one, was back in one corner. So you couldn't see all the guys that were in there. So there have been a lot of guys chomping at the bit to I think put their 2 cents worth in or more. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing from the standpoint of the players getting instruction and more instruction. Legally, if that's the term you want to use, by the rules, the last many years, a player had to basically seek out the coach and ask him a question. Give me a break, right? And but now these guys can offer their 2 cents worth anytime they want, and there'll be a pecking order, I'm sure. But I think it's a good thing because the more you can teach the game of football, the better off you are.
Download the Tim May Show podcast wherever it is you do your podcasting. Tim May joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, as he does every Friday at this wonderful time. Tim, have you had the chance to take in the Tavian St. Clair experience, and is the hype real?
The hype is real. I got to interview. I interviewed him and his coach Jason Brown at Bell Fountain this time a year ago. I think it was in July actually, and he'd already committed to Ohio State. He was bursting onto the scene, and you could just see by looking at this guy, this sophomore about to become a junior, what his potential was from a physical standpoint. And now he's letting it all hang out. I mean, it's pretty interesting where this guy's going. And every time I watch him on video now, like in the Elite 11 stuff, he just wows you just from his poise and his ability to just flick a ball 50 yards and put it right on the dime. So he is, in my opinion, he's the real deal and has been for a while. And it's interesting. He's like 45, 50 minutes, and it's downhill, from where he lives, downhill all the way to campus from Bell Fountain up there. So, I'm really looking forward to see this guy do his thing in college football. But he'll tell you he's got another year left in high school, and he wants to get it done on that level. But I like his demeanor. I like the way when I talked to him in my podcast a year ago, he understands there are little kids in a little town looking at him. He's a hero because he had heroes growing up there and stuff. Totally understands. He totally gets that aspect of his game. Hey, by the way, I've got I don't know if it's already dropped or yet, but I've got an interview, as Gene Smith says, his last interview at Ohio State, which I did late yesterday afternoon up at Ohio State. I've got an interview with Gene Smith also here on his last day at work at Ohio State.
Wow, that's an interesting one. And yeah, that July 1st, the new Big Ten teams come in. Those new teams go to the SEC, and Gene Smith is gone as well. A lot of changing over there. I'll get you out of here.
It's a whole new world.
It really is. I'll get you out of here on this one. You said you're at that scramble, and there's a bunch of former Buckeyes out there. Who's the best? Who's swinging the sticks the best as a former Buckeye?
Well, I want to tell you something. Dane Sanzenbacher's played me and Paul Moose Spahn, and sometimes with Jake Ballard, sometimes with other guys, scrambles. And when he's had a time to practice, Dane's pretty good. Does he hit the ball, 100, 350 yards? No, but he hits it pretty straight. And so if I had to pick one guy, not knowing any of the other guys' games, I would pick him. Michael Wiley's out here. I just saw him scramble on Monday and stuff, and we had a great time. So there's a lot of these guys that can swing the sticks. Clark Kellogg, as you know, puts one-handed. He's out here playing. So it's a pretty interesting collection.
Well, maybe Mr. Sanzenbacher can go out with some of our golf aficionados here at the Fan as he comes in and starts filling in on some of these shows.
Well, Tim Hall stole him. If Tim Hall steals him for his scrambles, then I'm going to be upset because I introduced those two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now you've let the inside information out that Dane Sanzenbacher, pretty good golfer. Good luck out there today, Tim. Hopefully you hit it pretty well, too.
Hey, always a pleasure talking with you guys when the big boss takes the day off, right? I mean,
yes, he's got travel lacrosse this weekend.
You know what I think about you guys. You guys do a hell of a job when the big boy's away.
Thanks, Tim. That's Tim May of The Tim May Show. You can find that wherever you get podcasts. He was on here, courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Talking about golf, there is a big golf thing today. That and more in Thing or Not a Thing coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Raising Cane's Iced Tea is the official iced tea of me, Iced Tea. Now, I heard some people order their box combos with water. Listen, water is for fishes and snitches, Jack. Chill out with Cane's Iced Tea this summer. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my crew at Valley Ford of Columbus. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle without breaking the bank, well, you need to get to Valley Ford for a great selection of certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage cars, trucks, and SUVs. Each one of these vehicles features a minimum 139-point inspection, and they're also backed by a 14-day or 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. Get the better deal and a better pre-owned Ford without any worries. Keep on trucking at Valley Ford of Columbus.
Vehicle must be returned within 14 days, 1,000 miles, whichever comes first from the original sales date and mileage is stated on bill of sale, and return in same condition as sold. Other restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
We go to war for you.
It's motorcycle season here in Ohio. This is attorney Robert Scherger. Distracted driving is at a record high. We know the accident is not your fault. Let us go to war for you if a negligent driver ruins your summer.
WarForYou.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You probably heard me talk about Dr. Mark Levy's custom fit oral appliances to help treat sleep apnea and how they are so much better than using those bulky, uncomfortable CPAP machines. Well, I've been talking about it for years, and the FDA just recently announced a recall of over 18 million CPAP masks. Yikes! These CPAP masks, the ones with magnetic headgear clips, can potentially interfere with certain medical devices. Pacemakers, implantable defibrillators, neurostimulators, aneurysm clips. And if that happens, that can cause injuries not only to yourself if you use these masks, but also your partner as well. Sleep apnea is no joke, and as I've been saying, it affects everyone in the home. So if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea and you can't tolerate your CPAP machine anymore, or, just flat out worried it could possibly do harm to you, that sort of thing, call Dr. Mark Levy today for your custom oral appliance at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's right. Dr. Mark Levy, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or book an appointment online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Summer is full of family fun, strawberry picking, little Johnny's baseball games, warding off shark attacks on the beach.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
When you get sick of all that crap, turn to us. Download the Fan app and take us with you. The Fan.
When you have to stop but don't really want to, stop at BP. Because BP has everything you need to keep it going. Fuel to keep the adventures going. The BP Me app to keep the savings and the commutes going. Snacks and drinks to keep the crew going. And the BP Me Rewards Visa to keep the rewards going and going and going. A stop at BP isn't a stop at all. Keep it going.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here from Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, announcing our $99 residential spring AC checkup. Carpenter and Bryant will do whatever it takes to prepare you for spring and summer. Check out Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric at carpentercolumbus.com.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or going to the grocery store for milk instead of buying your own cow. You know there's an easier and better way. Save up to 25% when you bundle home and auto with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple of weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Come play Skyline 75th Coney Hunt game. Use your phone to search for virtual conies, tap to collect coins, and redeem them for exclusive Skyline merchandise at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Details at skylinechili.com/Coney Hunt.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
It's that time of day. A little bit of thing or not a thing coming at you.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Bake, what's on the docket today?
So, guys, I'm not sure if you knew this or not, but the U.S. Senior Open is going on right now at the Newport Country Club in Newport, Rhode Island. And Frank Bensel Jr., he's not having the best tournament score-wise here, which is kind of crazy because today, in his second round on the 4th and 5th holes at Newport Country Club, he hit back-to-back hole-in-ones. Hole 4 is a 173-yard par 3. Hole 5 is a 202-yard par 3. Hard to believe with 2 hole-in-ones. He's +3, though, for the day in his round 2 through 14 holes. But 2 hole-in-ones on back-to-back holes, thing or not a thing?
Yeah, I don't even care what happens for the rest of the weekend if I'm him. That's awesome. That's something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. Do we have an age on him on the senior tour? We'll get that here in a second. But, yeah, that's going to be something that you'll brag about. And it's caught, like, in an official tournament, too. So, like, nobody can say, like, oh, man, I don't really believe. If somebody came up to me and said, I once hit back-to-back hole-in-ones, 2 par 3s, boom, boom, both roll right in, I would not believe that person.
Yeah, it's simple. No, I don't believe you. And you're like, well, not only is there official documented, but there's probably video footage out there somewhere.
And I guess the other thing, too, is I would do it because it's so special. I would, even though it's a tournament and it's probably a little bit different, but still try to go into the clubhouse, try to buy the round of beers. But since you did 2, buy 2 rounds of beers for everybody in there to commemorate it. We have an age on them?
I do not have one yet. It's we got slow here. It's 56 years old. Okay, Frank Bensel Jr.
So still pretty young there. So he's got a lot of years to remember this and brag about it amongst his friends and family.
I'm not going to lie. He looks a lot older than that from the picture, but just 56. So he's going to be celebrating hard tonight, hopefully.
Not too hard, though.
Well, he's not going to make the cut. So.
That's true.
ESPN president of content Burke Magnus said on the Richard Deitch Sports Media podcast that the network sees upside in having other broadcasters involved in carrying the WNBA finals. Magnus indicated that the finals would continue to be a component of ESPN's deal with the NBA, but he suggested that alternating years with other rights holders would be a good thing for the ultimate continued growth and development and interest in the league. John Orend of Puck reported earlier this month that NBC is poised to pick up a significant WNBA package in the new NBA rights agreements. The WNBA can make deals separately from the NBA as they've done in the past, but any finals rotation would almost certainly be between the NBA's expected partners, which will be NBC, ESPN, and Amazon. Thing or not a thing?
I think it is a thing. We've talked a lot about the growth of the WNBA as Caitlin Clark has gotten there and just is really this ratings driver right now. But the other interesting aspect of this for me, ESPN's used to seem like they were very stingy with, get as much as they can. Live, especially now, live sports programming is the best stuff you can put on TV. But have they shrunk the amount of networks they have? Or they don't want to throw things on ESPN Plus as much? Obviously, the WNBA Finals is going to need a real spot on the actual one of their television channels. But they did this with the CFP too. They left that clause in there that they could sub-license the first round games, and they're going to do that with TNT. So it's interesting to me that they are like acquiring the rights and then sometimes trading them off. I'm not sure if this is going to be the same deal or if it's just going to be written that, like the Super Bowl, it's going to cross networks for the WNBA Finals. But I just find it interesting that ESPN is not holding on to all the rights they can get when live sports programming is the last thing that really rates.
Well, if it's as they're doing with the college football playoff, I'm assuming this is just like that, to where ESPN, or I guess it would be NBC or whomever would be the rights holder, the primary rights holder, says, if you pay us a chunk of money, we will let you, Turner Sports, have the WNBA Finals, or whomever, as long as we get to produce it and we get to retain advertising rights. That's what they're doing to those 2 college football playoff games. Turner's going to have them, but ESPN's in charge of production, and ESPN's going to retain, at least for the first 2 years of their agreement, all of the revenue made. So this is just another way for them to make more money, which is, good for their shareholders, which is why, Burke Magnus, great name, by the way, would come out and say something like that because, he's beholden to shareholders of Disney, and this helps them.
Yeah, it's really interesting that they're starting to do this. It's almost like ESPN is subletting their apartment to tenants. And
they're buying rights and then selling them again to make back some of the
flipping
money.
Sports properties.
Notre Dame and Michigan State will renew their football rivalry in 2026 and 2027. The schools announced yesterday. The Irish, they will host the Spartans September 19th, 2026. Then Notre Dame will return the favor in East Lansing on September 18th, 2027. Notre Dame and Michigan State have faced 79 times, with the first contest being in 1897. Since 1949, the winner has been presented the Megaphone Trophy, which is sponsored jointly by the Detroit alumni clubs of both schools. The fall of 2026 will be the 60th anniversary of the famous game of the century. It was a 10-10 tie between number 1 Notre Dame and number 2 Michigan State on November 19th, 1966. Thing or not a thing?
Well, one thing is I'm glad that by the time I was of watching age, college football had gotten rid of ties, because that would just be so underwhelming to have ties. And you look back into the history books, there's a lot of them in there, and some of them very important games like this one, a 10-10 tie between them. But it's not that one that stands out. One, I didn't know about the Megaphone Trophy. That was news.
Who knew?
Yeah, that was news to me. I saw a picture of it. It's like a cheerleader megaphone, but it's upright on its like wide end on a base, and they hold it up and they win it. But I did not know about that one. But it reminds me of, it wasn't the last time they played. They played in 2017, but one of the last times they played was in 2010. And do you guys remember how that game ended? No. Okay. So it was overtime, and it's Notre Dame's up 31-28. Michigan State lined up for a field goal to possibly force double overtime. Instead, Mark D'Antonio and the Spartans call a fake field goal. They throw it into the end zone and they win. And then remember, Mark D'Antonio had like a mild heart attack that night. He was okay and obviously continued to coach for a few more years there. But they're just a wild game. So it's nice to see these two come and play each other again. And it's also pretty close. 2026 isn't that far away.
No, they're both set. I was checking to see if one of these two would be on the big Friday night, not the slate, but these are both Saturdays. So for right now, Saturday, September 19th, Saturday, September 18th, one of those is probably a night game, but I had never heard of the Megaphone Trophy. So it's cool. You can bong a beer out of it.
I wonder if NBC will gun for both the Michigan State home one and the Notre Dame home one in that, because they have the rights to both of those. What we learned this week coming up next, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Low testosterone causes many issues, including low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and more. But many men just attribute these symptoms to aging and don't consider that there are medical treatments that can give them back their vigor and vibrancy. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, the leading men's sexual health practice in our area for treating low T. And if you're feeling like I just described, it's time for you to treat that low T. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone. We've successfully treated many men for the condition and seen the amazing difference that those treatments can make in a man's life. If you're like most men with low T, within just a few weeks, your energy will return, that brain fog will disappear, your sleep will improve, as will your workouts, and your sex drive will be significantly enhanced as well. So call us and make a true life change. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations, just off 270 in Hilliard and near the Medical Mile in Westerville.
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale. Hello. Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds.
Awesome.
Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at IKEA-USA.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and IKEA-USA.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. When it comes to your roof, there's only one team to call, and that's the team at Newman Roofing. They're professionals. They'll be with you to support you throughout the whole process from the first phone call to the end. You'll work with their great team, so go check them out. Newman Roofing, the company you can trust. 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
When I'm not voicing Wendy's ads, I'm gaming. I stay up and fueled because Wendy's delivers late.
Are you recording a Wendy's ad? Come on!
Got 'em. Whatever you're up for, we're down. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Delivery Late Night. Open till midnight or later.
Hours and delivery availability may vary.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Ryan Baker. The eyes of the hockey world will be on the Sphere in Las Vegas tonight for round 1 of the NHL draft. And a lot of those eyes will be on the Columbus Blue Jackets, who own the 4th pick right now. Elliot Friedman reporting that a lot of people think the draft could actually begin at number 4 with the Jackets pick, so we could see some action tonight from the CBJ. So make sure you're tuned into our draft coverage. It begins at 7 with Bob McElligott, Dylan Tyre, and Jody Shelley. Novel Marte returned from an 80-game suspension, and man, no rust with him. He goes 3 for 5, scores 3 runs, drives 1 in. The Reds rout the Cardinals 11-4. The Guardians had won 7 straight. Now they've lost 2 in a row as they drop 1 to the Royals 2-1 last night. Ben Lively solid on the mound, gives up 2 runs in the 6th, though, and gets the loss. Breaking sports news as it happens on The Fan.
Not interested in Iowa football? Too bad. Chops will tell you about it anyway. This is Bishop and Friends.
You all right?
I think so. Thank you, My Mills, in the YouTube chat asking if I'm all right. You know, I went out there, and Tim Hall is like the snack king, so he always has various things on his desk, and I was like, I wonder if he has cough drops. So I took a look at his desk to see if he had cough drops, because Tim Hall's, his family owns the company. We all know this. He did not. He did have peppermints, which maybe I will grab one of those in the next break. I like peppermint.
Chops, you should have asked me. I have a bag of goodies all the time in here, and I actually do have some cough drops.
Okay, I'll get one from you in the next break.
What else you got in that bag?
All kinds of stuff, brother.
Like what?
I got a gavel.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I've got headphones.
Why do you have a gavel?
What?
It's an on-the-money thing that we used to do, so...
You adjudicate things between Scotty Vegas and Dave Biddle?
Yeah, I have to say who wins. You know, they argue a lot, and sometimes you just got to...
You got to get... Well, now that we're on YouTube, you got to get the robe and everything.
And
the hair.
I got some Jolly Ranchers in here. Not quite a cough drop, but that's good.
The old school Reese Davis, Mark May, Lou Holtz, the final verdict, right, on college football final?
Absolutely.
If I was interested in hearing you adjudicate things between Scotty and Vegas and Dave Biddle, where and when might I be able to hear that?
Well, on the money right here on The Fan, Sundays from 9 to 11, and also Wednesdays at 8 o'clock.
All right, there you go. Get all your betting information from Scotty Vegas and Bids. Before we get to what we learned this week, I learned something not during the show, but I wanted to pass it by you two guys because it's not very often that I'm sitting here with 2 baseball aficionados on the show. And I saw this video of this guy explaining that there's a new base running strategy that is sometimes paying dividends for players, and it has to do with force outs when the bases are loaded. And so right now there are some teams that are instructing the guy coming from first. You know, they're trying to turn a double play, right? So the guy coming from first to second gets tagged out, and then you throw to first, and it's a force out, and you get the double play. Plus, the guy coming from home doesn't get to score if you get the double play, and because if it's a force out, he doesn't actually get to score, even if he does cross in time. what they're doing now is the guy running to second runs past the bag or turns it really sharply instead of sliding to go towards third, even though he knows he's going to be out on the play. And it's causing some throwers to commit errors trying to throw back to first. And then the guy at third gets to come in and score. So is this a real thing that's working?
You make him think about it. You make that shortstop think about it every single time.
Yeah. So
I don't know if this was a previous series between the Guardians and the Royals. I think it was Bobby Witt just missed the tag on the bag, and tried to throw to first. I don't know if it was in a similar situation. But yeah, anything you can do to get these guys off their game. Baseball, and it's really similar in any sport. The littlest advantage you can get, you'll take it.
This sounds like some baseball execs were watching their grandkids' 5-year-old game and were like, hey, this might work in our game.
Worked for these children. Why can't it work in the majors?
And it appears that it is working.
A little bit.
I thought it was just like I was like, oh, I like that, because one of my biggest complaints with especially Major League Baseball is they don't actually play a lot of baseball anymore because it's so pitching and hitting and home runs and
that's all baseball.
Well, what I'm saying is there's not a ton of base running where there's actual a play being made. So I liked seeing that. I was like, okay, so now it's something that somebody else is doing and it's affecting other things, and the inner workings of the 9 guys on the diamond make sense there, and I like that.
I know one thing: the Reds would get thrown out still somehow doing it.
Yeah, the Guardians wouldn't score.
Okay, time for what we learned this week.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
First up, and because we were talking about the NBA draft off the top of the show as well, we talked about Bronny James going to team up with his dad out there in Los Angeles. But the other thing was actually at the top of the draft. 2 Frenchmen taken right there at the beginning of the draft. It's the second year in a row that a Frenchman was taken first overall. The French are taking over the NBA, and I like Bo's theory about the international play of the Olympics and the Dream Team pushed other countries to get better at basketball, and now we're kind of seeing the fruits of that labor, that the French are real players, but so are international basketball players in general, and they come into the league a little bit more prepared to go. Now, this Risa Sher guy who was drafted the other day, he's not quite there. He's a developmental guy that they see a lot of potential in, but he wasn't lighting up the French league he was in. But still, a lot of French guys now playing, and international players, and the skill set that you see from them, it's all over the NBA now.
Yeah, I think the game has become so much broader and more accessible. I think it also has to do with a lot of NBA players going overseas and playing there more and being more out front about the game of basketball itself. And so I think that gets and generates more interest. And yeah, the push by a lot of other countries we've got to get at least up to par with competing with the United States. It all drives it. And so I think it's healthier overall for the game. But yeah, I just think this doesn't mean that United States, the hoops in the United States is in any dire situation. Mm-hmm. I think that's just kind of how the draft went this year. Next year you'll get, I think is it Cooper Flagg? Freshman at Duke, he'll go number 1 overall. 2 years ago, it was Paolo Banchero who went number 1 overall. So, I think these things just happen, every couple of years. But I think it's better for the game because, as I obviously just said, better for the game in that you have these international players. You've got guys like Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic that are supernovas that come in and they're almost ready to go right away. And that's, a big tip of the cap to the development that they've had overseas. But it makes the game, I think, more interesting and enjoyable for a global audience.
Yeah, and they are really good, too, at perpetuating what has happened in the NBA. And it's not a bad thing, but, the idea of 1 through 5 anymore in your starting lineup doesn't really exist. Yeah, the tall guys are still the center, but they might be taking threes for you now. And that's been a huge part of the development of the game. Plus, it's going to make the Olympics more intriguing. The USA team is actually going to be pushed by a lot of these squads and on these teams. And this had started already, but it's going to every Olympics now, it feels like there's going to be more players that you watch regularly in the NBA on these teams throughout all these countries. The NBA also in their draft, we found out that they don't really care about first-round picks anymore. There were 5 first-rounders involved in the Mikal Bridges trade to the Nets from the Nets to the Knicks this week. And yeah, they're just loading up on it. We talked about when LeBron got to the Lakers, they jettisoned a ton of their picks for guys, including Anthony Davis, and they haven't had a first-round pick in years. And That's just where we're at, because when you can go get a guy who is for sure going to be a contributor, you've seen him play NBA games, go and get him.
Yeah, it's where, and it's not where the entire league is, but there are a lot of teams, Phoenix, Brooklyn, Los Angeles, like you just mentioned, that they're trying to go now. They're not trying to wait for development of a player. There are some drafts, that just might not have the guy that's ready to go now. And so you just say, yeah, bleep it. We're going to mortgage our future for what we can get now. And some teams it's paid off. Some teams like the Brooklyn Nets, it's dropped them into an abyss.
Yeah. And so
it's not a perfect science, but it does feel more now than ever. Yeah. First round pick is, I guess, the best comparison I can come up with. It's a coin flip. Either will, it won't work.
That's what I'm thinking, is that there has to be some sort of analytics about, like, most teams only hit on their first round pick 1 out of every 4 years or something like that. So you can trade 4 or 5 of them and basically get the same thing, but that you're getting that guy right now for your team rather than
Celtics. But you could say, they needed Porzingis to really, peak, to at least summit the mountaintop. So yeah, it's a very imperfect science. But if you look at the draft, and I think I mentioned it when I was talking about the Cavs pick at 20, every single service that grades these had a different grade. It ranged from A to C-.
There was no consensus at all. And you've seen a ton of high draft picks for the Cavs over the years. Some of them are LeBron James or Kyrie Irving. And some of them are Anthony Bennett.
Yeah. So is Jalen Tyson necessarily going to be Anthony Bennett? No, I think he'll be fine, but I think it's going to take him some time to develop. The same with a lot of these guys. Like, I don't want to sit here and act like I'm just crapping all over Zach Edey, but I don't think he's ready right now. Does that mean he can't develop in a couple of years, or does that mean necessarily Memphis is going to be his final NBA destination? It's all got to take some time. And I know we don't want to give anybody time anymore to do proper development, especially in a league that feels like it changes every 5 years.
Edey will be interesting, too, because I had that stat yesterday that he's going to be like the 3rd active player that's 7'3" or taller at 7'4". And, okay, but the NBA still is a lot taller than college basketball, so how's he going to deal with? He'll still be the tallest guy on the court, but there'll be people who are totally within range to block a shot, really challenge him. So what's his offensive game going to look like? It'll be interesting, but yeah, I just don't think it's going to translate right away.
The Wembanyama matchup is going to be a fascinating one to watch.
Man, then that'll just look so weird too. Like they'll be going back and forth, and they'll make guys who are 6'6" look like they're tiny. It's crazy. They are giants in the NBA. This one stood out because it was 2 different cities in the same week after we had seen a trend for the last couple of years or so that the cities and states didn't want to shell out the money for it, or at least there was some pushback when it went to a public vote for it. We saw that in Kansas City, but going straight to the the city council, NFL teams are getting money, namely in Charlotte for the Carolina Panthers and in Jacksonville for the Jaguars, and they are getting upwards of 55% type payments from the cities, and they want to do it on the sin tax and everything like that. Oh, and we'll tax the tourism, so that's where the money's going to be coming from. But I mean, these guys are worth tens of billions of dollars in Shad Khan and David Tepper out in Carolina, and it still just rubs me the wrong way when public money goes to these stadiums, because hey, if you're a billionaire who owns a sports team, like, own it, build your own stadium.
That's never going to be the case, though, right? And so many of the politicians in the city and the city councils don't want to be remembered as the guy or the group that let the Panthers walk out of Charlotte, or let the Jaguars actually go to London this time. And I think that's why you saw with the Jaguars, they've got a deal that they've got to stay. I think it's like 30 years at Everbank Stadium, and then same with the Panthers. Like, they've got to stay for a certain period of time. Because, the biggest thing, Everbank, they got to be there till 30 years for Everbank, 2045 for Charlotte.
And these are both interesting, too, because they are renovations. So they're just kind of like $800 million to $1 billion, not quite up to $1 billion, though, range, which I know is still a ton of money. But it's not as expensive as building a new stadium, which is what the Browns are looking at. But also an owner with very deep pockets. But are they going to get anything from either the city of Cleveland, or where's the new
Brook Park?
Yeah.
This isn't going to be replicated in Cleveland. I know there were city council members, and I think even the mayor had come out and said that they are working as hard as they can to come up with a renovation plan for a lakefront stadium. That's not happening. The Haslams are going to privately fund this new development, and then they're going to sell off piece and parcel, and it'll be just them I think that's the right move.
Brownstown.
But it's not. They're not getting anything like this.
I still like Browns Island. I don't know if you can build an island in Lake Erie, but if you could, I would love for the Browns Stadium to just float.
You can do like an oil rig, right? You float it out there and then you sink the rafters and see what happens.
It would be the coolest thing, but it would be. Could you imagine trying to get out to the middle of the lake in November for a
Jet Express,
game?
brother?
Last one real quick, because this stood out to me over last week and then this week seeing it more. Illinois' athletic director, Josh Whitman, he has had comments where he straight up is saying that, like, Illinois is worried that in realignment that they could be left behind and other teams should be. And this is something that we said could be a scenario, but to hear an athletic director say it out loud in an official presser was like, okay, so they're talking about it now. And hopefully Illinois takes that as a challenge to spend all this new Big Ten TV money coming in to bolster their football program and hopefully get a little bit better under Brett Bielema and whoever else is there over the years.
Yeah, they should. They should absolutely be fearful of doing this. And it's not going to be the conference. It's going to be the networks telling the conference, you've got to cut some of the fat here. Because it'll be 18 teams come Monday, right?
Yeah.
So that, unless you're going to add more and then just use the other ones as fodder, but it's going to get to a point, and I think we're kind of reaching it, to where you've got only a handful of teams that are carrying the load for these programs that haven't done anything in over a decade. And so I think not only is the Illinois athletic director feeling it, and he should, Rutgers, I don't know, man. It's always tough when I throw out Rutgers there because it feels like they're just fine. They're just happy to exist in this.
And they're also still losing money somehow. like not just like, oh, they're a nonprofit, so they keep it really close. Like, no, they are deep in debt, and it doesn't make any sense.
I guess like Indiana would feel that way. You know, they fancy themselves as a basketball school, Northwestern. You know, I think they just broke ground on that gigantic stadium development. And so, yeah, this is a threat that if you don't pull your weight or at least start to get serious, yeah, you're going to be out.
Especially if football separates on its own, because then you're Illinois, good basketball program, Purdue, good basketball program, but if their football doesn't offer anything, you leave them.
You will be out of the conference,
yeah, and do whatever you want with football. Baker, he's going to tell us who the Jackets are drafting tonight up next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Don't miss the Jeep Make This the Summer event, where right now, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for $379 a month for 42 months with $3,537 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 7/1/2024. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on USDA Choice Bone-In Ribeye Steaks in the Value Pack. They're only $7.99 a pound with your card and digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save. with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
Every year, Adult Protective Services receives thousands of reports of elder abuse, exploitation, and neglect in Ohio. When a report is received, Adult Protective Services can check in and provide help if needed. If someone you know is showing signs of elder maltreatment, don't hesitate to call 855-OHIO-APS. Let's work together to help every Ohioan age safely.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Looks like today we'll get up to about 86 degrees under partly to mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, look for a dry night with a low of 73. Saturday, look for showers and thunderstorms with a high of 83. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your Doppler 10 forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop and Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
If you were listening at the end of the last hour, I had a little tickle in my throat, but Baker helped me out. He gave me a cough drop, very menthol-y. I asked him what flavor it was, and he was like, oh, it's just like an extreme menthol one. Yeah, I feel like I'm dipping right now.
It'll open you wide up, won't it?
It really does. But yeah, so I think I'm good. Now, but I did just crunch the rest of it, so I wasn't throwing around a cough drop in my teeth while on the mic.
Just doing some menthol on the air.
Just doing some menthol. Menthol, very cool, very, very icy. Ice hockey, NHL draft tonight. Perfect transition. The Blue Jackets have the 4th overall pick. For now, they have been the subject of like basically the strongest rumors around the draft right now. We had Elliot Friedman saying that they are going to be the center of the universe tonight out in Vegas. We saw another one from Mark Scheig, who writes about the Blue Jackets for the Hockey Writers. A source in Vegas texted him today, could be an explosive day for the CBJ today. So we've got a lot to look at. What are they going to do with number 4? What do they want to do? Baker, you have a theory of what you would like them to do with 4.
I don't know if it's what I would like them to do, but I just have a theory just on Don Waddell in general.
Who's in charge of the whole thing right now.
You're the body language expert.
Yeah. I just get a feeling that he's going big. This isn't his team. He's talked about we could have 6 or 7 new players on this roster by the time the season starts in October. I think he's really going to retool this roster. He doesn't have any affiliation to some of these guys that we think or we have been told for years are going to be good. Like, he has no reason to keep an Alexander Texier unless he really likes an Alexander Texier and wants him on this team. So I have a feeling, especially with all the interest and smoke there is right now about the number 4 pick, I have a feeling that they are going to, I don't think they're going to pick at 4. I think they're going to end up, whether that be trading back or trading for players that can help this roster. There was a rumored deal to be on the table with Philadelphia yesterday that someone, Knicks, that was the Jackets moving back to 12, picking up a second-round pick, a first-round pick next year, and a player. Someone said no in this. They said they could talk again.
Better not
today.
have been the Blue Jackets.
I would hope not. There's Elliot Friedman has mentioned that maybe Martin Necas is in play with that 4 pick from Carolina. I am really, if they stay and make the pick, I am really intrigued with Caden Lindstrom. Now, he had some back injuries this past year, but supposedly the doctors have cleared him and said he's totally fine. He's a 6'3", 6'4", 215-pound center that plays with a mean streak. And I've said
Reese likes the big boys on the roster.
Well, I want some big beef for the blue line.
Well, I have said for years that the Jackets don't have enough nastiness. And you can say, well, they've got guys like Olivier. You need nastiness from your skill players. Like Brad Marchand is one of the best players in the league. Yeah. He's nasty. Braden Point for Tampa Bay, he's got a mean streak to him. Even Kucherov has a mean streak in him. You need guys that play. This game is a physical game. Mm-hmm. It's played with emotion. You need guys with some aggression. And having Lidstrom and Fantilli, 2 big centermen that can play, is kind of intriguing.
So here to my earlier point, so Anton Saleyev is 6'7", 215 pounds.
Yes.
That's what I want on the blue line.
Jeez, on skates, that guy's like 7 feet tall practically. Not that much, but he must look huge.
But does he play like that?
Right.
That's what you need him to do, is play like that.
And I think it was interesting. I was just looking at defensemen that are just big beef boys that I'm like, let's get them on the blue line. A lot of people have him mocked to Anaheim at 3. And I'm like, could Anaheim help the Jackets out for the second year in a row in the draft?
I would, me personally, and a lot of people have said the Jackets want to get bigger. That's one thing that Don Waddell wants to do, physically bigger. I do not think that's the defenseman that the CBJ are totally looking at in this. If they are, I think the Blue Jackets, and this may sound crazy, but with Zach Werenski, we know Severson's here, Jiricek and Matejchuk. I think Matejchuk's going to be really, really good. Stanislav Svozil, I think, is a pretty good young defenseman. I think they have more pressing needs up front, personally. So I would rather get that center.
Yeah, and I wonder and you'd made this point earlier in the show, like none of these guys, though, are Don Waddell guys. They're not prospects that he drafted. It'll be interesting to see, whenever they bring in the coach. That's probably but the next 30 days you'll have some clearance on that, but nothing in the next 24 hours.
No.
If they're going to let the draft kind of play out the way Don Waddell wants this to. I'm interested to see how he looks at, because you take a look under the hood of the Blue Jackets organization and you go, whoa, this stinks. And then I wonder, does he think the same about the guys skating in Cleveland? The guys that skated in Cleveland this past season.
But Don Waddell has said he doesn't think it stinks. Now, maybe he's just saying that because he can't say it stinks. But, he said he thinks that they are closer than a lot of people do. But I also know the only young player he's mentioned by name is Adam Fantilli.
Doesn't it fly in the face, though, where he says it doesn't stink, and then he says there might be 8 new faces on this roster next year?
Could be, but that doesn't mean he's talking about some of the young guys necessarily.
No, true.
He may like Kent Johnson a lot. We don't know. But Kent Johnson could also be a piece that's moved to bring in another piece.
And it's just really interesting because right now Don Waddell is just in charge of everything for the Blue Jackets.
Which he should be.
There are other people with input for sure. JD is still somewhere in the front office and how that's working, but he's taken a step back. I mean, there's no coach to answer to right now. So yeah, what he's going to do, what the Jackets do tonight will be a Don Waddell creation. So the draft, the first round tonight at 7 p.m. out in Vegas. Second and all the other rounds through the 7th round start tomorrow, Saturday at 11:30 a.m. The Jackets, as we mentioned, have that first round pick, number 4 overall. A lot of rumors swirling. Could they move on that? Could they trade for a player? Could they trade for picks? Could they trade back? Whatever they're going to do. But because the draft isn't super intriguing, we were talking to Rothman in the break. It doesn't sound like they're going to be able to get a huge haul for it, but it is still the number 4 pick in the draft. They also have in the 2nd round the 36th overall pick, the 3rd round 69th, another one in the 3rd round 86th overall, 4th round 101, 5th round 133, and the 6th 165. So moving around a little bit, but they do still have 7 picks in this draft.
Now, that 2nd round pick, the 36th overall, that could be going to Philadelphia as part of the Ivan Provorov trade. They either have to give them the 2nd round pick this year or next year. So they have to make a decision on that after the 1st round tonight. Here's another wild card with everything tonight, and it's the Patrick Laine thing. And Mark Scheig is Pretty good follow if you want to pay attention to Jacket stuff right now. He's on a lot of this stuff on Twitter. He's for the Hockey Writers. Laine can be traded while in the program. The CBJ and other teams cannot talk to Laine personally while he's in the program. The CBJ and other teams can talk to Laine's representation while he's in the program. So teams can talk to Laine's agent right now. They just can't contact him personally, but he still could be traded even though he has not been cleared.
Yeah, but it does sound like the prevailing opinion on that is teams might want to talk to Patrick Laine in person or, him one-on-one before they trade for him. But yes, you're right. They still could trade him. So a lot of tradable assets for the Jackets tonight. And as we said, people are talking that they're going to do something. So keep an eye on that. NHL draft starts tonight at 7 p.m. Lots of former Ohio State players that'll be playing for other teams this season in college football, not the NFL. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at mountaindewgaming.com and 2525. Voter prohibited.
Hey, what's up, Buckeye Nation? It's Cardale Jones. Join me Saturday, July 20th at Huntington Park for the Schmitz Cardale Jones charity softball game presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. Come check out former Buckeye greats take on this year's current Buckeye stars such as Emeka Ibuka, Jaden Ballard, and many more. Come see and meet the Buckeyes before they hit the field this fall. Gates open at 5 p.m. Contests and prizes all night long. Home run derby at 6:30 and the game to follow. Tickets available at BuckeyeCruise.com. Why picnic when you can Smicknick? Get your $10 tickets now at BuckeyeCruise.com.
Driving plays a big part in driving the local economy. It helps us all get where we're going and creates good jobs close to home. At Synovus Energy, our refineries in Toledo and Lima are a reliable domestic source of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Plus, more than 2,300 employees and contractors work for us here in Ohio. See how we're helping local communities move forward at Synovus.com.
New 2024, up to 72 months Aria, N7A24.
Reichert Nissan has an announcement to make. 0% financing is now available for up to 72 months. Take a Reichert Nissan Aria home today and pay 0% for 72 months. But these low interest rates won't last long. Lock in your 0% financing at Reichert Nissan. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
With approved credit. Residency restrictions apply. Offers cannot be combined. Dealer contribution affects consumer cost.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we're at the OSU Golf Club. We'll talk some Buckeye golf with coaches Jay Mosley and Lisa Strom, plus PGA professional Brian Kelly.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick, presented by X Golf. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
You know that project you've been working on? Just chipping away at it, dreaming of the day you get to show it off? Then, when you're least expecting it, cancer. And finishing that project actually happens. I would know. I've been restoring this car for years, and today I'm giving it to my granddaughter. It's her 16th birthday and 2 years since my cancer diagnosis.
Mom, you finished it?
Happy birthday, boo-boo. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a new golfer, think beyond the green and head over to X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell. Come experience the most advanced and accurate golf simulators in the world at X Golf. A fun venue with great food, excellent service, and a full bar. You can play around on one of our 50 courses, take a lesson from our PGA Pro, hit the driving range, join a league, or just sit back and sip a beer on the outdoor patio. Book your tee time today at playxgolf.com. X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell, the home of indoor golf.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling,
renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
YouTube chat pretty active today. I saw this one from Craig when we were talking about Zach Edey and his transition into the NBA. You think Zach Edey can guard Wemby on the perimeter? No, Craig, I do not, but I want to see him try.
There's no way that they would put him on an island like that.
With those tree trunks trying to catch up to Wemby.
You got to get out there. You got to get your man. Come on, Zach.
Yeah, and that's why Bo had a good point yesterday. Like, is Memphis going to be able to play around with any sort of zone when Edey's on the court? Like I said, their brass was trying to say that, Edey, he had to play a little bit more conservative defensively because he was so important to the lineup for Purdue that he didn't want to get into foul trouble. Maybe that's true, but I still know how he moves. Like, I've watched enough Zach Edey, and he's a good basketball player, but the way guys move in the NBA, I just don't know right away if he's going to be able to keep up with some of these guys. And then you're talking about the other 7-footers that can actually stretch it and shoot threes, not just Victor Wembanyama, but there's plenty of guys in the league now who can do that. And no, you're going to have to switch. Edey's not going to be able to run out to a guy at the three-point line consistently, I don't think.
But where I was not interested in Memphis Grizzlies basketball before, I am now interested in Memphis Grizzlies basketball. So you did that.
I've never been to Memphis. I want to go to the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid.
They should play basketball games in that.
They used to. That's what it was originally, Memphis's arena, but now it's just like a hotel and a Bass Pro Shop.
We should do more pyramids.
It's funny. There's like I saw a list once, and it's like places with pyramids, and it's obviously Egypt, and then like down in Mexico and Central America with like the
Vegas
and the
and Memphis.
Yeah, and Memphis. All right,
Columbus should get a pyramid. Maybe that's what you do after you've taken sticks of dynamite around the horseshoe. Build a pyramid.
Go from the horseshoe to a pyramid.
There you go.
All right. Go from the horseshoe to just about anywhere else in the country. This is something that obviously is a reality with the transfer portal, and guys are moving all the time. But when I saw this number today from 11 Warriors, I was like, that's like half a team right there. There are 47 former Buckeyes playing for other college football teams this year. Some of the names, the quarterbacks especially, Quinn Ewers at Texas, which that one, I guess, counts. He never
counts.
I mean, he played here. He was on the team for an entire season. It's just, I wasn't even thinking about that one, actually, when I was first looking at the list. And then Syracuse has Kyle McCord now. And then some of these other names of guys that the Buckeyes will play this year. We'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to start here because I'm not worried about Kyle McCord and Syracuse being somebody that's going to cross the path of Ohio State this year. But Texas, really good team. Quinn Ewers, a really accomplished guy now entering his third year as a starter. They could totally be a team that Ohio State meets in the playoff, and that'll just feel real bad if you go into that game and Quinn Ewers lights you up with, especially how good we think this defense is going to be. So to have a guy like that you have out there and say, we had him in the building. Who knows how real it was? Did the coaches actually want him to enroll early? It didn't really feel like it. So he comes that year early and then goes right back to Texas. Anyways, it felt more like a decommitment and go to Texas rather than a transfer. But there will be something like that. And that's a reality that you have to live with now of these names. If you follow recruiting closely, or even just like about as close as we do. We're not like all the way in the weeds, but there's a lot of names on this list. I was like, oh yeah, I remember when that guy was a big time recruit, because when Ohio State players transfer, remember that blue chip ratio for them is real, and it's there every year. So these are former 4 and 5 stars. A lot of them, really, there are very rarely is there anybody less than a 3-star on an Ohio State roster, and there's not very many of them anyways.
Yeah, it's a trend you'll see all over college football of guys watching, games on Saturdays going, oh yeah, that guy was at my favorite school at one point in time. I mean, every single fan base is going to feel that. And every single fan base has also got some on the fringes that go, wait, when did he join my team? When did he become one of my players? Like, how did this happen so quickly?
And some of them might be on their second or maybe even third team since the Buckeyes. Reading through some of it,
train him.
He played down here, and then he moved up. I think that was that legend Cavazos, who's now at MSU. This is his second
He was
team
at North
since
Carolina.
So he was at Ohio State, North Carolina, now back up at Michigan State. And that brings us to, I mentioned you could see Quinn Ewers, and that would be a sticky situation. But here are guys that Ohio State will actually play this year. Some names you're going to know, and some of them you might be, who's that? But legend Cavazos at Michigan State. Buckeyes play the Spartans this year. Penn State's not going to be on the schedule every year, but it is still on the schedule this year, and they've got Julian Fleming. That's probably, outside of the quarterbacks, the biggest name of anybody you're going to see, and maybe the one you fear the most if Drew Aller can get things going and the new offensive coordinator has Penn State humming. Julian Fleming's a good player, but just like with Jamison Williams, it gets crunched up with all the great recruiting they do in the wide receiver room, that there are guys who end up in these situations and they want to go elsewhere. Another wide receiver that was formerly here, Caleb Brown. He is at Iowa. He just got picked up on Sunday, like early Sunday morning, for an OWI. So a suspension does appear to be in his future. So we'll see how much he plays for Iowa. But the Hawkeyes and the Buckeyes do play again this year. I saw this in the article too. Caleb Brown was the Hawkeyes' leading returning receiver. Can you guess how many yards he had last year?
24.
Well, almost close to his catches. He had 22 catches for 215 yards and 1 touchdown, and he is the returning leading receiver for the Hawkeyes. So even with a suspension, you would hope that he would be able to get past those numbers, because 215 that means you have no production, but we all know what happened to Iowa's offense. You've got Akron, who will play in the early season. They've got a kicker, Garrison Smith, that used to be here at Ohio State. And then Northwestern, this one's interesting, Nigel Glover. Remember, he was at Northwestern, transferred out after the Pat Fitzgerald firing last year, came to Ohio State, didn't really see any playing time this past season, and now he's back at Northwestern, and that's the Wrigley game for the Buckeyes this year.
Oh, great. Playing football at a baseball stadium. What could go wrong?
So I think but for me, it's Julian Fleming is, when I was looking through this list of all these players, that's the one that's going to stand out the most and have that feeling of possibly what I was talking about with Quinn Ewers. Like, if he burns you, that's going to cut really deep for the Buckeyes. But it's the reality of what the coaching staffs are going through right now, because Julian Fleming didn't leave because he was upset that Ohio State wasn't good enough and he wanted to move up. He saw the writing on the wall that it's going to be hard for him to get on the field, go up to Penn State, who lost also their returning wide receiver, their leading returning wide receiver, to the transfer portal. So he's likely going to be the number one option.
Yeah, he'll be
for a guy like Drew Aller.
He'll be the number one at Penn State. And if that doesn't strike fear in you, you're not alone. It shouldn't. I do not. Look, I know. I
do not fear James Franklin.
I don't fear James Franklin. I don't fear Drew Aller. I don't fear their ability to develop a quarterback. They've got to have a guy that's good or good enough already. I just don't think that it's a better situation, for Julian Fleming there than it is here. He's a Pennsylvania kid. There's just a gluttony. I mean, there's just a glut of talent. There's so much talent in that wide receiver room that, he went and did what's best for him. And so while I wish him success in every game against, Ohio State. And he might be able to, have 5 or 6 catches for a touchdown in that. But boy, I know that we've had people on that have talked highly of Drew Aller, but I've got a pair of eyes and a double-digit IQ. I'm not seeing it.
The other one that stood out to me on this list, because it also trails over from what they've done in recruiting. Kentucky likes, with Stoops there, they're from the Youngstown area, that family. They like going up into Ohio and trying to get some of those guys, not just the Cincinnati area, but all around Ohio. And it has definitely improved their program. There's a lot of good hie school football players in Ohio. Now, not all these guys are from Ohio. I don't know off the top of my head.
I think all 4 of them are, actually.
Are they? Yeah.
Trainum's Hoban. Darian Henry Young might be Warren. Jansen Dunn might be Cincinnati. Let me see where Chrisman is.
Yeah, well, that's a good job out of you knowing the recruiting history.
Kentucky does a good job in Ohio right now recruiting. One of their assistant coaches, Vince Morrow, he kind of recruits Ohio, and man, he does a good job.
Yeah. Chrisman's from Akron.
All right, and it's a winning formula to try to get the Ohio players. Now, yes, you're going up against, if Ohio State wants a player, 99 times out of 100 out of the state of Ohio, if they want him, they're going to get that player. But you might get some of those. But then it's that next level, those 3 stars that can develop into really good players that Kentucky can find. And they seem to like it because not only are they doing it in recruiting, but then in the transfer portal, they say, yeah, load us up. They have 4 Buckeyes on their squad from the transfer portal this year.
I'll say this, Ohio players ball. So it's a good state to recruit from.
I don't know. What are we at? 70 days until the football season? It was 100.
Don't wish away the summer. Don't do this.
Wishing away the summer.
Yes, you are. Because you can't have football without the summer ending.
I think that's a glass half empty look at it.
I am a Browns fan.
That's true. 3 things on a Friday. Up next, Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are you feeling unsure about your current heating and cooling system? With Custom Air's Comfort Consultants, you can get a thorough assessment of your current HVAC equipment and explore future options for replacements, ensuring you make the right choice for your home sweet home. Take control of your comfort and peace of mind today. Go to customairco.com or call us at 614-552-HVAC to schedule your complimentary consultation with one of our experts. Custom Solutions, Custom Comfort, Custom Air.
Oh no, this storm really did a number on my roof.
You need to get that fixed before it gets worse.
I know, but finding a good roofing company is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Actually, there's only one good roofing company you need to know. Nitro Roofing, family-owned, specializing in residential roofing, and they finish the job quickly without cutting corners.
Wow, sounds like they're the real deal.
Absolutely. Call Nitro Roofing today. Use code TheFan10 for 10% off. Call 614-714-5693 or visit nitroroofing.com.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Raising Cane's Iced Tea is the official iced tea of me, Iced Tea. Now, I've heard some people don't order iced tea with their box combos. I've also heard some people spontaneously combust. Sip on that for a while. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Watch us live or on demand by searching 971 The Fan. Which fan host will awkwardly scratch their privates? Let's find out together. Find us on YouTube, The Fan.
Hi, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Need a perfect gift? Check out the new line of Glock watches and other stunning jewelry at Worthington Jewelers. Make every occasion sparkle with Worthington Jewelers, where exceptional gifts await.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, here to introduce you to Tansky Power Sports. That's right, check out our growing inventory of golf carts, electric bikes, and dirt bikes. And the fleet keeps growing. This month, come rent a golf cart for the 4th of July. We're located at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road in Columbus. Visit TanskyPowersports.com to book yours today. And when you think power sports, think Tansky.
Think Tansky. Tansky.
The Beat the Heat fan campaign is underway. Help Ohio's most vulnerable residents this summer. Purchase new box fans and take them to the nearest Franklin, Madison, or Marion County fire station. The Fan 10 TV Beat the Heat fan campaign is sponsored by Newman Roofing.
Join us at Twin Peaks for every Copa America match today through July 14th. How will the U.S. fare against our neighbors to the south? Watch every game with 29-degree draft beers and wall-to-wall scenic views.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
I wonder if Bo has hit Illinois yet or if he is still in Indiana. He did mention they might stop at Notre Dame's campus, which he's complaining about going to Rockford, Illinois, and there being nothing to do. Notre Dame's campus, beautiful. South Bend, nothing to do outside of that.
The second day in a row, someone on this very station has put down South Bend.
Have you ever been there?
I've never been there.
I've been there a couple of times.
I have no reason to go but for a Notre Dame game.
Yeah, there you go.
Bodie Wells will get you in your sleep.
I doubt Bodie Wells has been there for anything but a Notre Dame football game.
They are fun on those days. I have been.
I do not doubt.
I went to the Ohio State one, and then I went to a UCF or a USF one when I was in high school. Fan poll today before we get to three things.
The fan poll asks about tonight's NHL draft. The first round starts around 7. It's at the Sphere in Las Vegas. We're going to have live draft coverage on the Fan at 7 o'clock. Bob McElligott, Dylan Tyre, and Jody Shelley are in Sin City.
Yeah, it's a Jackets-specific show. It's not the NHL draft. This is the Jackets draft show.
So I wonder, if they went out and enjoyed the city last night before tonight's festivities. But again, Bob Dylan and Jody at 7 o'clock on the Fan. The Fan poll.
Bob Dylan.
What did I say? Oh, Bob Dylan. He'll be joining them. He'll be the special guest. Him and Don Waddell, they'll talk to in the 8 o'clock hour. But the fan poll asks, what do you want the Blue Jackets to do with the 4th pick in tonight's NHL draft? 40% of you want them to pick a forward, which would go to Baker's point if, again, they even use that pick. Trade down is getting 20% of respondents. 18% say pick a defenseman. 20% say pick a goalie.
Are the Jackets ever going to be able to stop chasing the franchise center? Is that they're just... like cursed to keep doing that forever and ever and ever.
They have it now, supposedly.
Infantilli's
the guy.
I would say
he can play center, but would you rather?
No, he is a center.
Yeah.
Stop the wing stuff. He's not put him at center, let him go.
Okay, well, hopefully that works out, but it just feels like everything I've ever heard about the Jackets is they're always looking for a center. And then you mentioned it in the draft. And it gave me some forever. 3 things time.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
We had a few days where we went a little long, so I didn't get to these. So here's a couple of food thoughts that I've had jotted down. On Sunday, we usually like to order food out and just get it delivered on Sunday for our dinner that night. And, take the day easy, have a nice little thing. And I usually like to ooh, can I add this little appetizer? Can I get something? And I went with onion rings. And the problem with onion rings, especially in a delivery situation, there's just no way to keep them crispy. And they come and they're a little floppy. I still enjoyed them, and I didn't finish the whole order, so I heated them up in the oven, and that helped a little bit a day or two later. But I probably need to get an air fryer to really get that crispiness. But we need to figure out a way to keep onion rings crispy during delivery. Plus, also a food hack by accident. So a hackcident, I suppose. Someone left the cookies from our meeting on the Keurig, and somebody made coffee, and so the Keurig was hot, and I grabbed one of those cookies the day after, and I got a nice warm cookie.
Okay.
So if you've got a thing of cookies, put them on top of your coffee maker or your Keurig. You get a nice warm cookie just like it's coming out of the oven.
Yeah, you said to my point yesterday, get an air fryer. It'll help you out in a lot of those sticky situations. I want to thank the crews from AEP. They got the boots on the ground. They're fixing situations, fixing electrical outages. I haven't had power for a while now. I think I'm still without power. I was this morning. If it just as a request for the crew, the wonderful crews of AEP out there. And again, I'm just talking about the boots on the ground people that are driving the trucks, that are going up into the wires and having to cut down branches. If you're going to wield a chainsaw at 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe just send out a message saying, we are AEP and we are wielding that chainsaw. It's very jarring when you're up at 3:45 to hear ring, 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 ring. Because every horror movie has taught me that after that, you are dead.
Leatherface just running around Grandview.
Just send out an alert. I know you have the power to do it. I've gotten 30 of them from you. Just, hey, it's our chainsaw. Fret not.
It was just someone starting their motorbike race. No big deal. Guys, Charlie Hull is an absolute treasure. She is a golfer on the LPGA Tour. She's the one that made headlines a couple of weeks ago, signing autographs with a heater in her mouth. And I saw earlier this week, she actually signed someone's cigarette in the crowd. Yesterday, they were talking to her after her round at the Dow Championship up in Midland, Michigan, where they're playing like a best ball. They're partners. And she said she didn't even play the course. She's never even played the front nine at the course, and they were supposed to, but she's like, it's too crowded. I want to go watch the England game. So she just left the course and head to the bar, and then went out and shot 4 under yesterday.
One of us.
I love Charlie Hull. She's my new favorite golfer, period.
Yeah, I don't know what the girl version of the name Happy would be. Maybe it is unisex, and she can just be the Happy Gilmore on the LPGA.
I mean, she's already the John Daly. Why not that?
Sounds like fun. Saw this morning. Marvin Harrison Jr. He's got his own personal cleat, and it's coming out with a New Balance. So it's New Balance's first ever American football cleat. I'm wearing New Balances right now. This is just by chance. I didn't do it because I saw Marvin Harrison, but they're comfortable shoes. They look good. That brand has made an incredible comeback over the last few years because I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, New Balance was like a dad shoe, kind of a dorky shoe.
No longer.
Maybe some runners had them, but it was not like a cool shoe to wear. It was all about Nikes, for me at least. When I was growing up, Elk Pride never dies. Go Elks. But now the Route Man is touting them, and okay, that's the right guy to follow. New Balances back in.
You guys all know who Stephen A. Smith is at this point, and on First Take, right before the show ends, they have a graphic that runs across the bottom of the screen. Want more Stephen A. Smith. And it pimps his podcast, or it describes whatever else Stephen A. Smith is going to do. And at no point in ever has anybody likely said, yes, I would like more Stephen A. Smith. He was on with Chris Cuomo and Newsmax after the debate last night, and that was the only really part that I saw online that I actually clicked on. And he was just giving thoughts about how our wonderful presidential candidates did yesterday for whatever. I didn't watch any of the debate. I'm not going to. I know everybody is going to lose that, regardless of who they think might win. So there's my political commentary for the day.
Guys, my second thing, the NHL draft is tonight, the first round, and I'm super excited about this. Just talking about the possibilities, knowing that the Jackets could do something. And you know what? They may just sit there and take the best player available. I'm okay with that too. But I love the Jackets being talked about right now in the hockey world.
Yankees and Mets, they had a Subway Series this week. We talked about Donovan Mitchell being out there. Did not delete his Twitter, right? Not a man of his word.
Still on the X.
On that. But I saw a video from it this week. There was a rain delay during one of the days. I think it was the 26th, so that would have been Wednesday. And some guy in a Grimace costume, yes, the purple mascot from McDonald's, was just like, he was standing either on a table or on somebody's shoulders because it's really crowded because everybody's under the stadium because there's a ton of rain coming down. And he's just chugging beers.
Yep.
And everybody's going crazy. And it's just like Grimace. I was talking about New Balance. Grimace has also had a pretty good couple of years. It was his birthday last year. Remember, people were doing all sorts of weird things with his purple, that shake they were giving out, the purple shake. So Grimace is so back. And now I need a Hamburglar Sans as well. So let's bring back all the characters from McDonald's.
There was a Grimace appearance at a Mets game, and I think then they went on a 7-game winning streak.
He was their good luck charm.
He was the good luck Grimace. Final thing for me, Baker talking about his excitement for the NHL draft tonight. We're going to have plenty of coverage again all throughout the day today, including live draft coverage at 7. Rothman and Ice up next from 12 to 3. Rick Nash is going to join at about 2:03. Maybe between now and then you find out if a deal can be done between the Blue Jackets, looking at the Flyers, and maybe the Carolina Hurricanes, if they even have the number 4 pick tonight.
Things like the Olympics and all-star games, I think I've got a plan to fix them. Like in the Olympics, you want me to watch? Have Ellie De La Cruz run in the 100-meter dash. Like baseball, you want me to watch? Have professional wrestlers in the home run derby and see how far they could hit it. Have basketball players throwing javelins. I don't care. I want to see more athletes doing things they don't usually do.
That does sound like a fun time. Also a fun time, Rothman and Ice, they're up next. We'll be back on Monday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
News, opinions, and insight, all before breakfast. Rise and shine with Morning Juice.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is a Fan Action Update.
In the NFL, we now have co-favorites to win the Super Bowl as we're 34 days out from the Hall of Fame game. The Chiefs and 49ers are both 6-1 to win the Super Bowl. The Ravens are plus 950 and the Lions are 13-1. The Bengals come in with the fifth best odds at 14-1. C.J. Stroud and the Texans are 16-1 and the Cleveland Browns are 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. That's good for the 14th best odds. For your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
It was spring of 2011. Eco Plumbers were just 4 years old. It's 7-ish p.m., and my sister is at her daughter's soccer game.
And I had my tablet in the bleachers with a Magic Jack USB stick.
Magic Jack was cutting edge back then.
Being able to schedule customers for the next morning service right from the bleachers was awesome.
It was this neat hack that let us provide after-hours, in-house call answering, and scheduling back when no other plumbers did that.
Now we run calls as late as 9 p.m. and we'll answer your call 24/7. You can even schedule online.
We always leverage technology to come through for you when you need us to.
Take EcoFi cleaning checks.
Advanced software, sensors, and tablets show the health and efficiency of your system.
And possible trouble spots.
Before we start the cleaning and maintenance, so you can see the before and after improvements for yourself.
Anyone can use technology,
but only Eco Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians use it to constantly upgrade their ability to serve you.
At GetEco.com.
Are you not able to enjoy the summer as much as you want because of joint pain? This is the time of year for being outdoors. It's the best, but not if your knees, shoulders, hips, or back are hurting. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking about lasting pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and best of all, no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's biologics and help restore and repair damaged joint tissue so you can walk, run, hike, play golf, move, swim, all pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Sheencup, a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. They have locations in Columbus, in both Gahanna and Dublin. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. So go check them out at QCkinetics/Columbus or give them a call, 380-208-4544.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com